What's up, everybody, and welcome to this evening's stream. We've got an upper bracket matchup, the upper bracket semi-final to be precise, between two of South Africa's titans in terms of South African CS level. We've got Goliath Gaming going up against DNMK. These two teams have shown time and time again that they have what it takes to be the best in the country and really push the boundaries. Tonight, they're going to be locking horns against one another. One of them is going to be dropped to the low bracket, Nick. One of them is going to be marching on into the upper bracket final against ATK. I think it's ATK if they've played their game already, but regardless, what are you making of this game, bro?
I mean, like, in all honesty, these are the two teams that are pretty much in the conversation for when ATK leaves, who's going to be taking their top spot, you know? Is it going to be DNMK? Yeah. Is it going to be Goliath? There hasn't really been another team which has had a real look in this past year. I mean, Sinister 5 had a bit of a showing towards the end of Telkom BS Gaming Masters, but then they were wiped with the floor 2-0 from DNMK all the way back when. And now Goliath, not so recent roster changes. They brought in Dweezil, who's actually an ex-DNMK player. They brought in the experience of Elusive. So they've got all their tools to their kit. And I mean, DNMK, when they start getting the ball rolling, they can start getting a bit of a snowball going. And then you never know who can get the series.
But Nick, I think you touched on one of the really important themes and storylines and talking points for this matchup right now tonight, and that's the fact that these are the two big dogs in South Africa. Once ATK have departed, finally, I mean, we've heard about the ATK departure for a while now, but obviously things are a little bit more difficult than they normally are. However, the point still stands. I mean, when you look at the Premier Division in VS, ATK is not a part of that equation, right? Because they're not taking a part of VS right now, which means these are the two top teams in the log right now. Goliath is undefeated 7-7. DNMK has lost one game, and that one game came last night at the hands of Sinister 5. They lost 2-1. First map was alright. They lost like a 16-10 or 16-12 on Vertigo, and then they blew Sinister 5 out of the water, 16-2 on Mirage, and then going into the third and final map, they lost Inferno 16-14. So a very closely contested series, but a game I think DNMK probably would have expected themselves to win.
Yeah, I think that's probably a game everyone would have expected DNMK to win, right? I mean, Sinister 5, that a bit of a iffy performance against Big 5, losing that one down 2-1, and when you're coming up against the likes of DNMK, you would have thought DNMK were going to wipe the floor with them, but I do, however, think I'm not going to get too ahead of myself. I do think that's just a blip on the radar. I do think it was possibly a bit of an off day from DNMK. I'm not going to say, because they lost against Sinister 5 last night, it's going to be a whitewash from Goliath today. I don't think it's going to be anything of the sort. I think both these teams are probably as closely contested as we've seen them in a hot minute, you know? So tonight's series honestly could go either way. Honestly could see 3 maps. Honestly could finish in 2, considering the stature of both these teams. We're seeing very similar map pools, very similar maps, very known maps. Both these teams know very, very circumstanced on the maps that we're going to see tonight. So, I mean, it could be a 2-0, it could be 3 maps. Only time will tell.
Well, we haven't actually had a 3-mapper on stream yet in this entire event, and here we are now in the upper bracket semi-final, so maybe finally we'll be gifted the luxury. Let's talk a little bit more about maps as you bring it up there, Nick. We've got DNMK that picked Dust 2, Goliath Gaming picked Inferno in response, and then the third and final map will be Mirage if we go the distance. I mean, straight up off the bat, there's always going to be a few demons in the closet when it comes to Dust 2 between DNMK and Goliath Gaming. The first game that comes to my mind is that final in Comic-Con last year, or the semi-final rather, where DNMK absolutely blew Goliath Gaming out of the water on Dust 2. It was like a 16-1 or a 16-2 win or something like that. And I think the next time they played against each other as well, DNMK was super far ahead for actually the most part of the game. I think Goliath Gaming made a bit of a comeback in the second half, but it was still all DNMK. Coming into the series tonight, DNMK have picked it again, Nick. It's looking like it's been a bit of a strength of theirs of late.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dust 2, it's the sort of map which I think pays homage to how DNMK choose to play their style. Super aggressive, super pack sort of oriented Counter-Strike, you know, strength in numbers sort of idea coming out from them. So I think if they can win out the aim duels and be confident in the fights that they're taking, I mean, by all means, they could win out Dust. But then I think Inferno is a bit of a red herring for the side of DNMK. They had a really success against ATK, actually, on that map. But however, Goliath, they made it their home pick. They were the team who actually made ATK start banning it way back when. Yeah. So Goliath are super confident in their own Infernos. But I think tonight, it's super 50-50. I mean, if DNMK take Dust, I'm not going to come out and say, Goliath are definitely going to take Inferno. I think both these teams have the likelihood to take it in 2, and likelihood, maybe we see 30 rounds, all 3 maps. Maybe we see a whitewash in 2. I really have no idea what to expect from these two.
I know, it's actually so tough to predict, right? Because
Yeah.
this game could go so many different ways. I agree with you, though. I think that this could be 1 and 2 by either teams. We don't sort of have that narrative where one of the teams has to win their map pick if they're going to be competitive in the series. Like Dust2 Inferno, Goliath Gaming, or DNMK can actually pick up the win on both those maps. I mean, not too long ago, Goliath Gaming were actually picking Dust2 in their series, bro. So, I mean, it's a map that they're still very comfortable on. I know Elusive calls an amazing T-side on Dust2 as well. Keeps things very simple, but always changing the timings, always making sure that the CTs are on their toes and never letting them get comfortable. So I'm really looking forward to this series, man. I'm super hyped up. That's the game of the tournament actually so far, if we think about it, up until this point. Super closely contested game between two of South Africa's best. We actually can't get this off any sooner. And yeah, I mean, tough to talk favorites though, if we want to go down that road and have that conversation, because there's actually just so many cases you could make for both of these teams.
Yeah, I think you can make an
Oh,
argument
did I see
for either of
Massacre's
them.
name in the...
Yeah,
on the server?
Massacre's playing tonight instead of ZipZip. He's been the
Oh,
recent
where-
acquisition, you know. So it's been
Okay, so
it's
has he been
elusive
playing in the team
ADM.
recently?
Yeah, definitely. Massacre's
Wow,
been.
where have I been? These are things
That's the 5. You know, it's ZipZip has jumped out, so it's a
Okay.
Daro, Massacre, elusive ADM. And I'm forgetting a really Dweezil, of course. Yeah, so that's the 5. So I mean, I think that 5 is super scary, and I think you can make an argument for any of these two teams winning tonight. I don't think if you say DNMK is going to win, I can disagree with you. I think if I say Goliath are going to win, I don't think you can disagree with me.
Absolutely.
I think it's genuinely as 50-50 possibly as a series. So far this tournament and so far this year, we've seen who's going to be taking that 2nd or 3rd spot in the country.
I'm actually so excited to see Massacre in the server as well from like a casting perspective. The guy just brings like a specific finesse that like very few people, like a certain swagger in the server that not many people are actually able to make work. And we're going to be seeing it play out very soon as we're jumping into map number 1 here in this upper bracket semi-final between DNMK and Goliath Gaming. What a series we've got poised in front of us right now. One thing I can guarantee is there's going to be entertainment across the board. That's an absolute given at this point. Which way it'll be going, well, that's anybody's guess.
Oh, I don't think you could have put it any better. I think both these teams have a plethora of experience, and ultimately both of them extremely gifted mechanically. So genuinely, whoever wins the aim duels, whoever has the more experience, you can make an argument for either way. Dory's been flashed out long early, but it's all quiet over at Dust straight away.
ADM and Massacre position challenge short. This is a pistol round Bravado used to use on their CT side. They wanted to try and get aggressive, and maybe this is a bit of Elusive's flavor right now. Oh my god, ADM just rattles off the one shot and destroys Nexus. So that's thrown a bit of a spanner in the works here for DNMK. And Goliath Gaming, they're just going to count their blessings and they're going to get out of there. Early advantage, no need to take any further contest. Weasel wants to get back through the window. A huge amount of shots missed there from middle. And in the meantime, Massacre's taking down Dory, which means this attack has become fairly one-dimensional as they start hitting this B-bomb side. Adaro, rooted in the corner right now, has to try and get something done, but he's just going to be overwhelmed. So many different players for him to contend with, and he's actually able to get a kill. And it looks like Goliath Gaming don't want to waste any time here. They want to try and force the issue while the plant is coming through, but it's Kani who finds 2. ADM, the man who started things off, is the only player left, but he goes down to Kani as well, who picks up the quad kill in the pistol round and secures it for DNMK.
Cannibalistic, the ex-member of Goliath, all things considered. He had a bit of a stint for them towards the end of last year, and I mean, he turns things up big. I think he's probably definitely the danger man on the side of the DNMK squad. I mean, we can speak about the likes of Doru, the experience he brings to the team, but I just think the sheer firepower, the sheer explosiveness that Kani can bring to the server is something that Goliath need to tame very quickly.
Absolutely, Nick. There's one thing that goes hand in hand with Kani, and it's BMT. Like, to the extent that he's like, in terms of players who have the most BMT, the most big match temperament in South Africa, he's right up there at the top of the list. The guy, for any occasion, will pitch up and he'll perform, man. Like, it's just so rare to see him underperform in super high stakes situations. He's one of those players you can really rely on when you need it the most. And it's such a valuable player to have in the team because he sort of will start off proceedings, and that then in turn takes pressure off the other players in the server, and they can then settle into their roles. So yeah, massive fan of Kani.
Yeah, I mean, Kani gets 4 in the first round, and then Doru replies and says, Kani, whatever you can do, I can do the same. Probably not better, but the same. And he gets 4 in the anti-eco, and it's going to be a full investment coming out from Goliath. 5 M4s in the server, but they're not stretched for utility. really low in that sort of department. 4-1 split coming out from DNMK, and Adam's going to push Yushin towards top of middle, and Kani's missed the timing.
Oh, Kani actually going to be able to find Massacre. It's still not a bad situation for ADM, all things considered. Nick, train your eyes over to Goliath Gaming's util right now, because it is a sight for sore eyes. Only 2 flashes left at their disposal. On the flip side, DNMK have everything they could hope for. So ADM, he has to go big here, and Doru's watching his angle. He was aware of the threat. Great awareness there as well. I mean, you're holding long, so there's no point for you to be sort of fixating your attention over on that side in Doru's case. But that doesn't mean that every single player is aware of the options. And speaking of other options, Kani, the key lurker here for DNMK, has found a key frag, and he's opened things up, so the rotation's going to come all the way across with the bomb.
Yeah, now it's Elusive and Dweezil, who are just going to have to save the SS player towards suicide, though. That is Divo. I mean, Nexus. So you could actually stop
timing. Nah, didn't spot him.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure they're
but there is still a player on A as
them.
well. I mean, Heartbreak's in the vicinity, and you can see DNMK, they do want to hunt you. They're definitely looking to deny them saving these weapons. But this was a bonus round, Nick, for DNMK, and they haven't even lost a single player here, so this is going to set them up very, very nicely heading into the rest of this half. At least in the early stages.
And the Galils can get upgraded to M4s, and for DNMK, you're smiling from ear to ear. The only person who's not going to have a fun time on the next coming rounds is going to be Heartbreak, but it's sort of the pay or the trade-off you have to make. Nexus, he's going to be pushing towards long and get taken out by Elusive. Now they know the position of him, but they're going to be pushing towards Dweezil. He's taken out an Elusive. He's going to try to run for the hills, but he's repositioned towards blue. I don't think they're actually going to account for this. He should be able to save.
Oh, Divo was so fixated on the long doors. Elusive is actually going to be able to take his gun into the next round, but it's still advantage DNMK after that gun round. No money in the bank here for Goliath. They're going to have to eco in this round and just try and play around that M4. But this is going to be setting DNMK very nicely in motion here, Nick, into this first half. I think they're going to be feeling very comfortable about proceedings right now after this early start.
Oh, but they've got the read. They're sending 4 players over towards B. All things considered, those are just the upgraded pistols and the USP of Dweezil. They're actually going to push the issue. Kani, he's trained on the angle. Turning from the flash, he's got 1, he's got 2. Unable to get the spray transfer. Nexus eventually takes down ADM. They knew that Massacre's been the player who flashed, and now Elusive's been legged towards mid doors.
Yeah.
And good job coming out from DNMK. Yeah. They make it as clean as possible and keep men up, and ultimately the bomb's going to be planted. If you're Elusive, you just got to try to save this. Massacre can save that AK towards top of tunnels, and then if you're Goliath, you've conceded the 4th round, but you're gonna look relatively good coming into the 5th.
Yeah. No, I mean, all things considered, they didn't actually have a fantastic buy coming into that early gun round. They didn't have the best amount of util. They didn't have the privilege of the AWP either. So coming into this next gun round is going to be the real telltale sign about what sort of a half we're in store here, because Goliath Gaming could storm back into this one after they win the next gun round and pick up the round thereafter, break the economy, and we're straight back to even keels. So it's early days, but DNMK looking good at the start here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think one thing that Goliath do seem to do pretty much in, I want to say every map, but I could be wrong in that, but they always seem to take the full eco in the second round, regardless of how many T's stayed alive or anything. They always seem to take the full eco, and then they just buy up the M4s or maybe a FAMAS and full utility on the 3rd round, and they try to get that up and running in that way. And the idea is like you can stunt the economy of the T's early, but then obviously in the flip side of that coin is you don't have utility, and they can in essence steamroll in this sort of case. I mean, Doru's already on 9k, so that's the flip side of the coin. But the first real gun round is going to come in the 5th.
Yeah, I'm actually quite keen to see what sort of a round DNMK bring to the table right now, because they know that this is the key round for Goliath. So this is where you want to bring out like your pocket rockets, right? Like these pocket strats, which have like high percentages of win rates, but you can't use them that often because you know how important this round is for your opposition. It's key to try and steal that round away from them. So looks like it's just a fairly stock standard default here. Leaning towards long coming out from DNMK. Nexus and his teammate Kani just taking middle and short control, showing quite a lot of presence, and now the late long take comes through from the remaining 3 players. So good map control being found here by DNMK, and you can see the response from Goliath here. They're edging towards short right now. Flash comes over the top. Massacre looking to clear out the angle. He finds the first, and the transfer into the second is absolutely sublime as he takes down Nexus as well. And he walks away with 12 points of health. So that completely undoes the setup here for DNMK as the remaining 3 players to look towards long are left stranded.
Yeah, and Goliath already have a really good idea that this is going to be the part of the map that's going to be under question. ADM, he's taken a leg. He's down to 28 points of health. Dory, he's going to be able to smoke, and Heartbreaker's going to do the fast smoke. Flash is going to come in for the cross, but Goliath already know that this is the side of the map under question. 5 of them in this area. Elusive, possibly a bit of a preemptive push to the smoke.
Yeah.
Just play retake. Oh, but I missed
Yeah, when you
Molly.
have that numerical advantage. Miss Molly, though, almost makes life a bit more difficult for Heartbreak. Nick, this isn't actually outside the realm of possibility right now for DNMK. When you see the fact that all 4 players are coming through from short here, it can make things a little bit awkward sometimes. Just walk into his ankles on ADM while he converts into the 3v3. His teammate's gone down as well. Doru adds 1 to his tally, and all of a sudden it's the Transgressor that's the 1 left remaining in the 1 versus 3. Just frantically trying to find something with the AWP. He'll eventually be able to pick up 1, but this is still such a tough position he finds himself in right now. Might even consider saving, and it looks like that's the option he's going to take. Drops the smoke to ensure he can take the weapon into the next round, but my god, DNMK, without even having to do all that much, win the post plant out.
I mean, that was a 5v3. Lucifer's flash pushing the smoke. He loses his life. ADM team kills a teammate. Then it's a 3v3. Next thing you know, 2 frags. Go the way of DNMK, and just like that, it's ADM who has to save up the AWP. But they're all actually going to reinvest straight back into it. Masker's already pushed up
I see
on
that.
his own. But I was actually so Raid has announced his sort of comeback into the SAC.
Yes.
And the other day, because I wasn't around when Energy went overseas and whatnot, so I was like, let's watch the VOD of that game against Greyhound. So we watched the VOD, and Raid said they have nightmares of just that smoke on short for the retake, because that's exactly what Goliath did there. They did that sort of lurk smoke on short, and then when we were watching the VOD back, Raid was like, why have we done this? Like, what was the short sort of retake protocol that we had in store? Because I don't think they want a single short take. Yes, it was against Greyhound. Look, no offense to DNMK, but they're no Greyhound, or at least the Greyhound of the past. So
that Greyhound of the past was strong, bro.
Yeah. But I was just like that short retake protocol with that close smoke. Maybe if they had a fast smoke to do the avant-garde execute with the smoke that lands the box and gives you a bit of a one-way, maybe that's a bit of a different story. But that smoke towards short sort of just like stops your sort of movement. All of you have to funnel up towards that area. The T's can see your feet, and it's just like super touch and go from the side of Goliath.
Yeah, I think the one thing that hampered them as well is that they were all coming from shorts, and sometimes it is nice to have everybody come from one part of the map, but you lack that variation, and then they can all just focus on you there on short, not being worried about a CT push or a long flank coming through. So that was also a little bit unfortunate that was the position they found themselves in. Just looking at Heartbreak, okay, there's a gun dropped. I was wondering if he thought this might be an eco, so he was going to keep the Tech 9, but none such. And we should be kicking things off again here soon. Just a bit of loss for Elusive. I'm not talking about the rounds. That's I wonder. I think it's a bit soon for PTSD, I guess. For Goliath. But
imagine,
give it a couple more rounds. Can't be too far away around the corner if DNMK keep this up, man.
Yeah, Kenny's just having a bit of a banter in chat because Elusive's going to restart his net, so he's going to disconnect. So Adam said they need a restart. So Kenny's saying, "What do you mean? We got 5 rounds. We can't restart."
Classic.
He's getting
Trevor.
scammed, dude.
Always quick with the joke.
Oh, dude.
I've actually had the pleasure of like sharing a team with Trevor when I helped work as an analyst for the energy team that went overseas, and yeah, man, just a very good guy to have in the team in terms of like energy that he brings and like lightheartedness, and always takes the pressure off the situation by sort of one of those guys who doesn't really feel pressure, and those guys exude that sort of confidence onto everybody else around them as well. So it's a super important type of person to have in the team, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like when times get tough, you need someone like that, regardless of... You can extrapolate that with anything from CS to conventional sports. You need that someone who can sort of like just calm everyone down and just understand like what are you playing for, and that sort of thing. And I have had a few experiences with Trevor, and he seems like a really, really sick guy, really chilled guy. I've never been in a team with him. I've never been in a team with many people at all, but I mean, Trevor seems like a really sick guy. I played at Rust with Heartbreak a couple times. Very much just like that guy.
Of course, who likes Heartbreak, man? No, seriously, Marco.
Yeah.
What a scrub. But yeah, been a solid starter for DNMK in the early stages of Dust 2. I mean, especially considering that they picked this map, it's always great to get off to a strong start on your map pick, right? Because it just sort of allows you to start feeling that much more comfortable. And heading into the 6th round here, it's going to be the double AWP on the table once again. And Nick, Goliath, they got themselves into a 3 versus 5 advantageous position earlier on in that previous gun round, and they weren't able to convert it. So, that, 5-0 start, not the end of the world, but from here on in, if you keep losing, that's when it feels like the pressure starts to mount.
Yeah, that is when things go from a real touch and go situation. Obviously, the double AWP on any map, it's extremely expensive to carry on purchasing it up. So how are you going to activate with that AWP? Do you try get an opening pick and get that AWP towards back plat on B and play heavy towards middle? Do you take an AWP pick long, an aggro pick short, boost towards the lower tunnel? All things like that need to go through Goliath's mind, especially because you have to essentially do something to warrant the fact that you've bought up 2 guns worth $4,750.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to make sure they're getting kills on the server, right? They're extremely powerful. You can hold long lines to them. I mean, long obviously is one of them. You can play 2 rifles over towards short, have the AWP patrol long, stuff like that. But from a Goliath's point of view, how are you gonna patrol the map with those 2 big AWPs? How are you gonna warrant the buy that you've bought out with them? And ultimately, Goliath, things are gonna go touch and go, as you said. You're 5-0 down, and this is an extremely important round to come out on top from, because you're buying those double AWPs, because you're 5-0 down, and you don't want DNMK to start snowballing, because we know from first-hand experience what DNMK can do when they start snowballing.
Yeah, and combine that with the little map called Dust 2, so we've got Dust balling, but they certainly do ball out on Dust when they start getting super far ahead. So let's see if we're going to be seeing a change in the wind here. Sometimes an elongated break can actually, interrupt a team's momentum, and maybe we're going to be seeing that playing out here, and Goliath Gaming just appreciating the resulting effects of that. Right now it's ADM and Dweezil with the AWPs. ADM with his train towards long, but he's been smoked off. However, that's only just a bit of information and presence being shown by DNMK, because majority of their players are over on the opposite side of the map. They're ready and waiting to execute into this B-bomb site. And as soon as the smoke starts to dissipate, I reckon they're going to be having a go at it. There's only 1 molly left here remaining, and it's on Odaro. He's playing in the close cubby. There's also the quick rotation that can come out of Dweezil, and ADM's posted on short. That's a big kill that he fires onto Diver just to open up the team's account. And there we go, Dweezil finding 1 as well. It's starting to go well here for Goliath Gaming. This 5 versus 3 looking like it's going to be converted this time round.
Yeah, and the double AWPs, they have massive impact in the round. Obviously, you had 2 players patrolling the A street. You had 1 player on side holding long, and then ADM was on short, posted lower tunnels, and ADM gets a kill straight after. Dweezil gets a kill from bottom mid to top mid, and just like that, it's 5v3. DNMK try to push the issues towards B, but there's 2 riflers there, and Mask and Elusive welcome DNMK with open arms. And finally, we see Goliath post around on the board. They got to get 1 more to start breaking the economy of the side.
Yeah,
of DNMK to start having a real mantle hold into this game.
Yeah, like I said, the double AWPs were one of the big factors in that round. But speaking of AWPers, Heartbreak removes 1 of Goliath's, and Massacre's going to retrieve it to try and continue to have an impact with the weapon. But that's a really nice start, and Heartbreak's a good AWPer to watch on the T side of this map. He knows how to take initiative and to create openings for his team. And obviously in the T side in general, that's a really important trait to have with your AWPer. But I feel like the T side of Dust 2 is also super important, where you need your AWPer to be creating these openings towards mid doors, sometimes towards B tunnels, making himself a nuisance towards long and short as well, just trying to have an impact across the board. And Kani goes down towards upper dark, and that should be some good information, Nick. When you've got that hard, dedicated lurker and you kill the opposite team's lurker, that's when you know that this is probably not where the main hit's going to be coming through, and there's a bit of a bait and switch going on towards long as well. ADM retrains his focus towards the site, where DNMK is getting pretty far forward, but not as far as ADM, or not further than what ADM can control, as he gets another good kill before the bomb plant comes through.
Yeah, and they do know Heartbreak's over towards long because of the team flash that allowed Doru to fall, and now Elusive, he's able to get him out, so now it's just like that. It's Diver left in the 1v4. He's able to get the first one towards ADM. Masker with the jumping AWP shot being a bit cheeky, and Adara coming through short meant that Diver is going to lose his head, and just like that, Goliath post their second round on the board. Bit touch and go, obviously losing that early pick of Dweezil, but I mean, ADM, he brought it right back for Goliath.
Absolutely, that, you know, playing that role to perfection, exactly as you want your AWP to do when he's playing long. First, he takes contact towards long, which means elusive isn't being focused on anymore in that off angle, and then he also pivots immediately towards short, and he gets a kill before the bomb plant comes through. So, doing his job to perfection there. And now that economy's been broken, so DNMK are going to have to save. It's Desert Eagles across the border, Scouts as well, which has found an early tag by the looks of things. And I mean, there's some armor as well. So this round's certainly not outside of the realm of possibility.
Dweezil's been taking that aggro pick towards top mid all too often.
Oh.
He's going to get caught between a rock and a hard place in middle. Possibly
Yeah,
overstaying
nice
his welcome. But actually, Goliath have attuned to this. They've had 2 people towards this B side, 2 rifles at that. Massacre is actually going to clear out the whole of middle and make sure that the AWP doesn't get in the hands of the CTs, the Ts rather.
Yeah.
He's going to put an AWP bullet into Diver's chest.
This is a very nice setup coming out of Goliath Gaming right now, rather. I just love how passive that they're playing this. They know that they don't have to make any extravagant plays. They've got Elusive posted up long on a very nice angle. ADM controlling short as well. And then Massacre knows he just needs to be aware of middle, and he can back off accordingly as well if he has to, and help pad up that B-bomb site. So this is a nice setup, nice and stock standard, and risk-free from Goliath Gaming.
I do want to see how Dweezil chooses to patrol mid coming these next couple rounds, because he got found out this round with the deagle. Nice shot from ADM. He should be able to get the last in towards Kenny. He's going to flash so he can retake the angle. 5-7 eventually takes him out. But I want to see how Dweezil chooses to patrol mid, considering he got taken out by Heartbreak in the big gun round previous, and then he got taken out this round after overstaying his welcome. So he's been found out twice now with the AWP possibly sticking around a bit too long because he's posted that top mid angle. So how are DNMK going to choose to activate themselves toward this mid B area? Are they going to do a fast mid B because they know Dweezil likes to stick around, but they know 2 rifles are playing over towards the B side? So Goliath seems to be being preemptive. They're leaving Dweezil to be a sort of turret towards the bottom mid and understand they're still strong in the mid Bs. Or are they going to choose to start abusing long? You know, they know it's ADM pretty much patrolling that area of the map, and ADM's a scary character, but it's him and Elusive, only 2 players towards the A side of the map, which does sound a bit weak on paper. So how do DNMK approach this next round? It's going to be an extremely interesting one.
Yeah, I think you're spot on though, Nick, because DNMK needs to start reassessing their options, right? Because the past couple of rounds have gone against them. So now, what sort of variation do they bring to their T side to try and outdo this Goliath Gaming defense? And Goliath Gaming, they were heavily prepared for that long take to come through, stacking up 4 players there. And it's a good read by Goliath Gaming as well, if you think about it, because we haven't seen that out of DNMK just yet. And because they've lost a couple of rounds, maybe that was the variation they were going to throw out then. Now straight back to the stock standard defense from Goliath after there was no early presence. So liking that Goliath Gaming are staying on their toes here on the defense, but it's also DNMK who find themselves in a decent position in this round, Nick. They've already taken short control, and there's a push. Dweezil making his way up through B. He's going to be a prime frag here for Kani. Doesn't even consider the knife as he just absolutely destroys him, and that's going to be pulling the rotations across. So that's a massive kill, but again, if you know Kani is the lurker, then you sort of have an idea that he's there by himself, so no need to completely over-rotate. And now the hits coming through towards the safe side. Nexus is dropped down off of short. He catches Massacre, and he forces ADM back, but in turn gets caught down by Adaro. And this is actually still remaining slightly interesting here. I mean, Goliath Gaming not out of it just yet. And they're going to have to shift their focus towards this B-bomb side. Adaro lies in wait with this AUG, but he's going to receive the same treatment as Dweezil as Kani buries a bullet in his brain. And that should be the round for DNMK, unless Goliath Gaming can make this retake happen. And it's gotten off to a good start by taking down Heartbreak in middle.
I mean, Kanye's going to flash for Doru to peek this window position, which is really sick, because not only could he get a frag, but he could also get information on these last 2 CTs. But the flash has been seen by Elusive, but none of them are holding window.
Oh man, that was massive. I mean, it was a poor flash actually. They got to turn away from it. Doru was actually primed for the taking to be fragged there in the end, but the double peek works out, and DNMK are back to winning ways.
To give props to Goliath, because I spoke to you briefly about this at the end of the last cast, and we spoke about using timeouts and the fact that Ikasi seemed to have the lack thereof, and a big fan of what Goliath did. Yeah, exactly, and a lot of other teams. But what Goliath did is they actually took a timeout before that round, and I spoke to you about using timeouts proactively instead of reactively, and they did that to good effect last round. Yes, they didn't win, but they sort of thought out DNMK's options and subsequently stacked 4 over towards the A side, because they knew DNMK knew that there were only 2 players over towards A, so they stacked it accordingly. And imagine if DNMK went long, different story. Dweezil's going to push up a dark again, get a tag. Adara's close by, he's going to get the trade.
Man. That's unfortunate there. Kani not expecting the immediate second player to be coming through. Pulls out the molly and gets taken down. So yeah, big trade, because that would have been a huge kill for DNMK. And Goliath Gaming showing a tendency to get aggressive there towards B, hey Nick? I mean, that's a couple times now we've seen them looking to try and make some expansive plays over on that side of the map.
Yeah, and it's something Kani needs to obviously keep his wits about him over towards that side, because as you said, Kani seems to just be the lurker, and if you kill Kani on the one side, you have a good idea where the rest of the team's going, and it's going to be the same thing in this round. Three players going out long with Nexus coming for this late-pronged attack towards short, and he could catch ADM on the walk-up.
Oh,
Nexus takes him out. Now Elusive is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He knows he has to win one of these frags. Nexus possibly going a bit too early compared to his teammates. Elusive understands he needs to make a play. 3v3 now on the post plant. As Diver's going to plant for long plats.
You can see the protocol coming into effect though, right? Immediately before the bomb had even been planted, both Elusive and Adaro backed way through CT towards short. So this has been the plan for them to retake this A side through short. Flash is going to be ready over the top. They've got two AWPs as well, which can actually be a bit of a liability. And they're trying to get Elusive on point to try and take that first little bit of ground for the AWPs to work off the back of. And Elusive gets the aerial route, but it's Doru who finds all the frags. It's the triple kill for him in the post plant. He finds all 3 kills and wins it out for DNMK. So that's going to be the reset for Goliath, and DNMK continuing to put ground between themselves and Goliath. And Nick, what's the most impressive here for for me from DNMK's perspective is that, you know, they lost those 3 rounds in a row. They had the timeout. They went back to just, you know, trying a slight variation on the T side, and it's straight back to winning ways for them. So it's not like they're a one-trick horse coming into this T side.
Yeah, they seem to find some real good success switching things up. Nexus and Heartbreak are going to open up this round. It's just an eco from the side of Baart, so not really much to talk about. But yeah, it looks like DNMK, they do seem to assess the options and seem to assess how Goliath are going to choose to play out the round that they subsequently played. And DNMK doing that to good effect, right? Kani getting 1 kill towards the upper dark push, which is something Goliath did the previous round. Dweezil was accompanied by Adaro, so they did go 1 for 1. And then they just went out long. Yes, Nexus probably went a little bit too early considering he got the frag. He probably rushed a little bit. If he's able to just keep hold of short and understand that there's no one else towards the A site, you're pretty much sorted. So that round was probably a lot closer than it should have been, all things considered. But I mean, Doru finished it out as easy as you like. And this round, Goliath, they don't have a lot of utility. So a lot of it's going to be expended already early in the round. But again, they're doing this 3-2 sort of lean and ensuring they're strong to counter this mid B.
Look at Heartbreak's position, man, as the AWPer. No support. Here, playing middle, up close and personal. Not afraid to give his position away either. Gonna drop the hinge smoke here. Try and fake that he might be going up the Xbox, but now the emphasis is towards B. Adaro stands tall, able to get 1. Massacre chimes in with 1 as well, which means it's the numerical advantage for Goliath Gaming before site control's even been assumed here by DNMK. Missed Molly means that Massacre can actually swing out as well. He continues to wreak havoc in this B bomb site. Peek, and peek again. Now it's just Heartbreak left in the clutch. He finds 2 with the Tech 9, but will eventually be put down by ADM, and that was messy from DNMK, Nick.
Yeah, that was... They tried to explode on the B sites, and then Nexus is just pushing doors without it being smoked. I understand it's a pop, but as soon as you get that early frag, you just got to halt, smoke the doors, and understand they may try to make a flash play because they understand that the B retake is really not a good situation for the CTs to be in, but crossing the doors is a really, really risky play when they haven't been smoked, and DNMK ultimately pay the price for it. Now, Dweezil's in lower tunnels. He's going to get his head ripped off them maybe. This is the opening that DNMK need into this round to try and get a W.
Just got to question the approach there from Dweezil and the anti-eco. Just trying to force it like that seems unnecessary. Massacre gonna go for the aerial route. Gets above the smoke. Oh my god. He's just having such a high impact in these past few rounds, man. The double kill, and he continues to look for more. Big kills there as well to just bring this round back into Goliath's favor. After they lost Dweezil early on, things could have spiraled out of control. And now it's Elusive towards Long, who has a job to do, and he times his peak to perfection. And ADM just puts the ribbon on the round for Goliath.
Yeah, the ribbon's on, it's nicely wrapped, and ADM is just going to put the little note on it to say 5-8 as the scores on the doors. And that was only a partial buy coming out from DNMK, all things considered. So Goliath, worst case scenario, secured that 5-10 CT side scoreline on DNMK's map pick. And as we said, coming into tonight's series, no real map is a must win from one of these two sides. We're not going to say DNMK have to win this map to ensure they have it life in the series. All 3 of these maps, if we do go the distance, could honestly go either way. But again, this 4-man alien, and Dweezil's going to be patrolling this B bomb side all alone. 2-12, he's a real slow start to this game. But it does look like it's going to be the mid B under question, I think, or...
Yeah, the question I'm asking is how much can Kani get done from this position? You can see his teammates trying to bait for him towards long. Kani's trying to use this bait right now, edging around the corner. If he can avoid the AWP of ADM, but he doesn't check up close. And Elusive takes him down. The tunnel vision ends up leading to his demise. And off the back of that now, DNMK are going to have to start figuring something else out. And it looks like it's going to be the short hit. It's a little bit awkward for Goliath because it's the rifler who's on the A side right now. And ADM's trained towards long. Wouldn't take much for him to get across to short though, so I mean, should still be able to get this defense set up in time. And he is going to be pivoting across, spots them on the angle as they start to make their way forward, but he's not hitting anything this time. He is, however, taking the bait away from Massacre, so he's going to be able to find a couple of easy kills here. Dealing in multi-kills at the moment is Mr. Massacre. And, oh, Heartbreak, he just, it's like, I'm going to see what's on the floor here. Just, you know, look straight down. Oh, his head's been spotted on ADM. Oh my god, Heartbreak. Somehow he's actually been able to successfully get across here and avoid the AWP for the most part. Dweezil nearly makes a meal of that one. Is going to have to find the second kill here onto Doru, who's left alive in the clutch. Got a bit of time to work with as well. Looking to try and find a fight. Bomb plot wouldn't be a bad result either. And yeah, ADM wants to try and force the fight here. I do like this from Doru though. Just slowly making your way across. Going to isolate Dweezil. And now that he's been found out, unfortunately he can't get the kill. And time's against him at this point. And he's also low, forces the issue. Oh my god, he actually destroys ADM. It's going to be an easy bomb plant for him as well. All of a sudden, this is converted into a very winnable situation. He doesn't have any more than 2 bullets left in the magazine, but he gets the headshot. Doru destroys Dweezil, and DNMK are back in front in terms of the win streak here. But my god, what a round for DNMK to win.
How's it, guys? My name's Jono, and I eat 1v2s for breakfast. Really well played from Goliath coming out, all things considered. They ensure that they don't give an early fight over the way of John, over towards Doru. But then he takes initiative and takes the fight over towards ADM, towards CT, and then still has time to get the bomb plant. Dweezil was super scared of that short push coming out from him.
Yeah, he was.
Doru seemed to fake it out, so he wasn't close enough to ensure that he could get the fast trade in towards ADM, but Doru playing that to perfection, and sick 1v2 coming out from him in a really, really important round. Like, look at the economy. That was second last round on the brink. Dweezil could get caught with a smoke in hand. Diver pushing out, gets taken down. Kani's close behind, able to get the trade.
Oh, Massacre standing tall in the defense towards middle as well. Somehow he's been able to find 2 kills with this FAMAS before he's been finally taken down, and it's not going to be long until Heartbreak sees the end of the round, and that sees the end of the half. DNMK take the lead 9-6 into the second half, but a pretty back and forth half for the most part, with DNMK relatively comfortable, I would say, but Goliath Gaming have definitely been fighting their way through. But it does feel like DNMK have just been that much more comfortable and that much more consistent up until this point.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at the scores, 15-8 for Doru, 14-11 for Kani, the 2 heavy hitters from the side of DNMK at the top of the scoreboard. The same could be said about Goliath, Massacre, and ADM at the top of their scoreboard, respectively.
Check the pistol here.
This 50-50 as it could come.
Divo flying up through short, gets found out. Goliath, they're just flying into the B bomb side. There's a quick flank from Heartbreak as well. He's got his airwaves on, drank his Red Bull, and he's ready to make some moves. Oh my god, the first tap is pinpoint accurate, as is the second. Surgical precision coming out of him. He's got supports, and there's no way Elusive wins this. And that is the threat of the super fast flank coming through, undetected by Goliath after they found the first kill. They thought they dealt with the threat, Nick, but it was not to be the case.
Super important pistol round coming out from DNMK, and Goliath, they're going to take the full eco into this one. Hopefully get the AKs up in the next. Elusive's just perched up a smoke, so I assume that could be for an upper B molly, and then they're just going to try explode to that. But it is... Oh, they're actually going to go fast mid to B. Heartbreaker's going to get these sound cues.
No smokes. They're just going to charge all the way. The players from CT are going to have free reign here, right? Surely. Nexus, first responder on the angle, spraying away, not connecting. Oh, it's a shooting range, and there's bullets all over the place. Finally, the bullets meet the T bodies, and DNMK win the round.
Yeah, and two SMG frags go Doru's way. So that's $600 a piece, and
nice.
He can actually drop over the M4 and purchase one up on his own, and a full belt of utility. So usually we come into these third rounds saying, oh yeah, the T's have a better buy than the CTs, but I mean, there's 3 M4s and a FAMAS and a Scout, and there's not much utility to work with on the side of Goliath. So this is a 50-50 buy round coming out from both these teams.
Check Heartbreak position. He's making his way up through lowers, and he's going to get found out by ADM. Big kill there. That could have been such a headache for Goliath Gaming if Heartbreak was able to find a kill from that position. Now it's actually afforded them a nice early frag. For The one thing I will say is DNMK don't have much money left here, Nick, so if they do lose this round, they're going to have to eco afterwards, and that's 7-11 after this, 8-11, convert the anti-eco, and I think Goliath Game will be feeling pretty good about things once they've got some money in the bank in that position. So this game is still very wide open right now as it stands. And certainly the round going into Goliath's favor after that kill. Adaro on the opposite side of the map takes down a B player and just forcing rotations. I mean, look at how disconnected Nexus, Divo, and Kanye are right now. All three of them just trying to perform some individual functions. And in fact, it's just completely falling apart for DNMK in this round. Nobody's standing tall in the defense.
Yeah, you were talking about how open this game could become, but this round is as closed as can be. Kanye in the 1v5 turned 1v4, but I don't think there's going to be much to write home about this round for him. He's just going to try to save the AK. Long stance is going to come out from Dweezil. And all things considered, Kanye is going to save the same force, so this will warrant a force buy coming out the neck. Oh, he's not going to save it. Okay, so you've got Heartbreak on 1.9, Doe on 1.5. You could warrant a force buy coming into this because you're considering Doe, you're double eco anyway. You can get a CZ.
Yeah.
Something like that, but it does look like they're just going to eco coming into this. Kanye's perched up the scout, so he's going to try to do some damage towards middle, no doubt.
Yeah, let's see if he can show us some fireworks here. You can see that Goliath Gaming aren't giving him anything right now, but there's a push from Heartbreak. He only has a USP to his name, though, so it's going to be tough for him to get anything done here, but Dweezil might back up into him, and Heartbreak tapping away. Oh my god. He actually gets that kill. Dweezil's had a rotten game so far, man. He's been unfortunate. Not much you can do about that, and Nick, the Poison Chalice, has taken another victim. Things we love to see.
I swear these AKs are glowing, dude.
They can't help themselves.
Oh, goodness, I really want my hands on that juicy AK.
Yeah.
Doe.
I mean, remember that moth meme that just got completely overused for like a week with the red eyes, and it's just like, just solely focused on that. I want that AK, and nothing else will get my attention until I have it.
Yeah, and I know that USP is a moth to the flame when there's an AK on the floor. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame him, obviously.
Oh, no ways, no ways.
And now it's Kanye with the scout looking to try and have a bit of an impact, but once he catches one bullet, it's game over. That aim punch is going to be keeping him locked in place, and looking like round over is the case here as well, as Adara finds a nice shot onto Doru. And that's going to be 8-11 and a double eco as well. So
yeah.
9-11, looking pretty close at that point.
Yeah, I think if Nexus can possibly get a frag on the retreat, because considering Massacre did throw, or Elusive, I think, through the AK over the wall outside long door. So
okay.
So there's no AK to retreat.
Good awareness.
So he's just going to try to stick around and try to get one on the retreat at the T's, but they're just going to save towards car. Obviously, Massacre can't do such. He's got to get out. But all things considered, a pretty clean round coming out from Goliath. 4 men staying up. Adar is actually not going to save car. He's going to lose his head because of it.
Oh!
Retrieved. Get an
Get
AK.
the AK. Oh, yeah, he survives. Yeah, he's fine. Yeah. Man, oh man. I mean, and Massacre goes down to the explosion as well, Nick. That was 4 players that were left alive in that post plant for Goliath Gaming, but 2 of them get snaffled up by Nexus's 5-7, and then also 1 to the explosion. So that's going to be forcing Goliath Gaming to be rebuying 3 weapons, which they did not want to be doing, man. That's quite a big one. I mean, if DNMK can get a bit of work done in this eco round as well, they'll be keeping Goliath Gaming's economy honest heading into the next round. And with this AK alive, that's very much a realistic prospect.
Yeah, I was just about to say how good the anti-eco come out from Goliath was. You know, 4 men staying up. You know, you're not going to give Nexus anything towards upper tunnels. You're going to save mid B. You already cleared that area of the map. Can really build up the economy, but it was actually the exact opposite. Only ADM being the player staying alive. So now Massacre's been dropped that AWP, and in all honesty, the money on the side of Goliath camp is on the brink. If they lose too many players, they could have a real rough buy coming into the next, but
yeah,
it is going to be ripped off. There's this 2-man B lean from DNMK as
well.
well.
Adaro! Oh, I was watching his perspective the whole time, and he never noticed the player coming up through suicide. Now he's being wrapped on a little bit here as well, and if he gets 1 kill, he probably doesn't expect the second, but he's not even going to be able to find the kill. Doro takes him down, and as we keep on expressing at this point, it's just DNMK looking to do damage at this point. I mean, winning the round, yeah, that would be amazing, but if they could just get 2 more kills from this position, they'll feel really good about the results of this one. And Nexus has been able to get to a decent position with the AK, and he finds the frag. So not a bad result here, all things considered. But Elusive, he's farming up a couple of these players right now. Heartbreak's aimbot glitching out there for a second. Don't know if you caught that.
No.
But it's back. It's operating again as he misses a shot.
I mean, this AK should blow to him towards CT, or at least into the wall, so he can try and retrieve that, and then going into the next, drop that AK towards the B player. I mean, Doru, he's the B player, and he's already got an AK for his laurels. I mean, there's nothing worse. Like if you're playing a ramp on Nuke and you have an M4 and you just dink the guy coming in first, and you're like, dude, imagine I had an AK. That's a solid hold.
I know.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
Insight does too. Like you're playing behind the barrels, you're locked on the tunnels, you're ready for the hit.
Trade 1-for-1.
This guy, and then you can't even get anything.
Yeah, absolutely. The worst is like when you trade dinks and he wins because he has an AK and you have a full. Same aim, same skill, he wins.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, these AKs are invaluable, and it looks like the AK on the B bomb site, Nick, is going to get a chance to be put to use here. Doru on this off angle, can't get anything done. Heartbreak, first responder as well, gets himself in position, but good discipline from Goliath means that they're not swinging out before the util comes through. The molly spreads, and Heartbreak is broken as he gets put into the grave. And this is a flawless gun round coming out of Goliath Gaming, and it was very simple as well, Nick. I mean, nothing more than just a B execute, catching Doru in the site by himself as well. I mean, normally we see teams rotating the second player into the site once time goes on. So I think Goliath were playing against the timer there that they had to go off of, and it works out perfectly because now they're also going to be in the back of DNMK's minds for the rest of this half.
Yeah, I mean, what Doru did effectively wrong there is he mollies and he smokes. He gets the smoke timing on pretty much on top of the mollo, but he's not playing any info towards that position. Yes, the AWP strain of that angle. But one thing you can do is you just flash, have a little bit of a jiggle, and see if anyone's there. Otherwise, you're very susceptible to the walk up, which is exactly what Goliath did. They got in front of the smoke, and then next thing you know, Doru's lost his life. The rotates can't get anything done because Elusive, being a very effective lurk in that round, cut the map in half. He killed the rotator. One player dies in window, and just like that, only 2 players stay alive with DNMK. They are going to full invest double AWP, which is an interesting thing to keep in mind. Cunny's got he's an explosive AWPer, man. I think Cunny can be a prime for any team. He's an extremely explosive one.
Oh, Heartbreak! Oh man, he was looking to try and get the early angle onto B, but Adara with the spawn was actually given the AWP, Nick. I mean, lest we forget, in his previous team, Online Kingdom, Adara was the main AWP, but the team stacked with them. They're going towards B again. Massive balls here in the Goliath Gaming camp as they pull out the same strategy once again, and it's been a perfect call out of the cool-headed Elusive, who's making fantastic reads on this T side. And Nick, there's already a snake in the grass, but that snake has been burnt out by Diver, and that, thankfully, that's a big kill for DNMK, but probably still not going to be enough to warrant a buy heading into the next round. I mean, what a cool strategy coming out of Goliath Gaming, because now they're going to be living in DNMK's heads rent-free. They have to make adjustments at this point, right? Now they need to start sort of accounting for these B leans, and that's where it's going to create opportunities on the opposite side of the map for Goliath Gaming, just like a game of chess. Always pulling and pushing and pulling, giving and taking, and trying to stay one step ahead of your opponents.
Yeah, I agree, and Goliath are doing that to good effect. They've essentially just abused the B bomb site for 2 rounds, and then now Doru, he's going to feel uneasy. Are they going to pop B? Are they going to come B early in the round? But what Martin Heartbreak, he got taken out for that early B pick early in that round, but Doru had the spawn, he got dropped the AWP, and he did good use of it. So 11-11, the scores of the doors. 2 rifles have been saved, but if you're DNMK, you shouldn't really be baited into a buy. Just try activate those rifles, maybe get a couple upgraded pistols with some armor behind them, a couple pieces of utility, and you're sorted. Do as much damage in this round and try fight the next gun round with everything you can.
Yeah. Looking at the scores quickly, Massacre is the top of the server, Nick. He's 21 and 12 right now, so having a lights out performance here. So good to see him back in action. Seriously, I don't think a break was a bad thing for him, actually, though. Nick, he had been competing for a very long time. And I actually think an extended break was probably pretty good for him. So, I'm keen to see what sort of heights he can reach from here.
He's been in Goliath for, what, like 3 years now?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And before that, he was competing as well, by the way. I think he might have been in, like, Flipside or something, if I remember correctly, and some other teams.
He's been around. Dean's a bully, dude. Like, he may look young, but he's
That's the thing is, there's these players who like are still young but are super experienced in South African Counter-Strike. Like Mistim is another one, and Massacre is definitely one of the most experienced players in South Africa from the younger generation. But speaking of the round now, as things are about to heat up, it is the save from DNMK. And Goliath Gaming are edging away towards the A side, where there are 5 CTs lined up right now to try and mount some sort of a defense. Massacre, the man we were just highlighting, is tasked with the job, and all he can do is damage. Elusive trying to finish off a couple of those kills, and he's able to add 2 to his tally, but The job's not done just yet, and look at this interesting little
ADM.
bait and switch right now. Heartbreak, he needs to dive first because he's the low player, and Dweezil finds Divo, and now it's just Heartbreak. He picks up the AKL from his fallen comrade, but he's going to be meeting him in the afterlife soon enough. 12-11 for the first time here in the upper bracket semi-final. Goliath Gaming are ahead.
Oh, and they're ahead in leaps and bounds. Yes, it may only be one round, but look at the economy. Mask on 10k. I mean, obviously just bought, so they're not on 10. Elusive on 10k. Dweezil on 10k.
Yeah.
They've got so much money around them, and they have another couple buy rounds, possibly buying until the end of the game. Obviously, you lose a couple rounds in a row. If that were to be the case, then the loss bonus starts to build up. So
Yeah,
Goliath,
exactly.
they've done a really, really good job on this T side.
Absolutely, man. ADM, he's going to open things up as well. Look at him
Trading
just
things.
feeling that. Look at him just feeling it, man. Trading things, yeah, we can laugh at that all day long, but you just love to see ADM making those sorts of cerebral plays, these fearless plays where he's going to just take that duel with the player that he knows in CT, and he backs himself to win that every day of the week. So when ADM's at his best is when he's playing that type of Counter-Strike, man.
Yeah, and now if you're DNMK, you have to take some real estate somewhere in the map, right? You've got 2 players leaning towards middle, 2 players on the B side. You got to make a flash play mid. You got to double push tunnels. You got to get some sort of information. Otherwise, you will lose the round. It does look like it's going to be the former. And a flash play towards middle, I think, is going to be the case.
Oh, as
At
you
least
say that,
Nexus is
Heartbreak.
playing close. Like
Yeah,
if you're not
I
going
mean, I
to
agree
play
with
for
you
you're going to lose
completely.
the
They're
round.
nowhere right now. They're absolutely nowhere. Kikani is towards A with the AWP. Adaro has found that mid play. It's Nexus. It's that sort of play you were alluding to, but it's from an individual capacity, so it doesn't really have the same impetus it would have had if it had some supports, and that's going to be prompting the execute to come through from Goliath as they split onto this vacant A site. Kani's the only sort of player in position right now, and at least he does take down Elusive, who was the short player. And it's still a man advantage for Goliath Gaming. Kani's going to have to go absolutely nuclear. Can't hit the no-scope. Now it's on his teammate Doru as the first responder. Gets himself into position to find a kill, but Massacre continues to deal in multi-frags. And he's looking to add a third to his tally here as well as Heartbreak makes his way forward up short. He's got a flash and he has a kit as well. And he's going to get taken down by ADM on the angle. 13-11. Goliath Gaming really starting to tear ahead now, Nick, because that was the round, right? That was the big gun round for DNMK, and it goes awry. And it's also been 7 consecutive round wins here for Goliath to reach this point. So from 6-11 down to 13-11 up.
Yeah, I can't hate what Nexus did there in middle, right? He took the initiative into his own hands. The only problem was it was a super solo play. No flash, he did it dry. He understood that he needed to take initiative and get some information for his team. Otherwise, it would have been a lost round, which is effectively what it was anyway. Heartbreak has actually pushed lowers, so he's got a frag with ADM. Kani's taken off Dweezil's head.
God.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness. Dora's push B, okay. Adaro, he's got a molly in hand. What is going on? Things are going bad to worse.
Miss Molly burns himself. This is just an interesting one. Glad Gaming. How hard can we make this for ourselves, boys? Well, Massacre, when he's hitting shots like
feeling
that,
it. Oh my
he's
goodness.
feeling it, bruv. This is Massacre in a nutshell, just playing this brand of Counter-Strike. I mean, for me, it's him and ADM who are the two, like, elbows out type of players in the team. And you've got Adaro who also has that sort of game style as well, right? So it sort of falls on Elusive to hone that in and make them all feel really comfortable in their roles and positions. Allow them to express their true game here in the server while still making sure that it's within the realm of what the team's trying to achieve. And if they can really balance that formula, this Goliath Gaming team has so much potential.
Yeah, and Adaro and Massacre, 2 kills apiece this round, and Massacre, he's been the heavy hitter. 25 and 13, 108 ADR. He's an absolute blinder. Dweezil, his
Yeah.
performance has been completely looked over considering how Massacre's been performing this game so far. All
Yeah,
things considered,
exactly.
Goliath are definitely the favorites coming into these last couple of rounds. However,
Yeah.
DNMK, double AWP setup, 3 rifles, full belt of utility. They got everything they need, but Goliath are going to push the issue towards this long region.
And it's now or never, Nick.
Yeah,
Now
I
or never.
agree.
Lose this, no money in the bank, even though you got the full round loss bonus behind you on the CT side. It's not enough to substantiate a full buy. And Goliath Gaming have already set themselves up in a very nice position. Adaro by himself here in middle, while the remaining 4 players are all towards long.
See what
And there's not gonna
Adaro's
be
done.
any contest. Yeah.
He's cut the map in half now. So Goliath, they can exec long perfectly fine, and there can be no rotates. The only way you rotate is through tunnels, and you don't want to do that because Adaro's been playing that position. So if he gets taken out here, it's a bit of a different issue. He actually, missed shot from Heartbreak. Now,
Yeah,
again,
that's big.
Adaro has to be considered on this rotate. He's mollied towards shorts. He's pushed this issue. He's finally been taken out, but now he can exec the long area 4v4 on the post plant. Kani's close towards the site. He's traded out. ADM's taken
Big
down
kills.
Diver in the smoke. And just like that, it's a 3v2. The bomb's
Oh,
dropped on
man.
the floor, but it's just about to be planted on the bomb site.
Yeah, Massacre and ADM, they're both chiming in with the frag apiece, completely blows DNMK out of the water, and Weasel pretty much solidifies their fate in this round as he gets a kill as well, and he's going to seal the deal onto Nexus. Oh man, this Goliath Gaming team is looking very clean right now, very polished. You can see they're really feeling it. Everybody's on the same wavelength, and it's just looking like a good performance all round. Guys, let us open up the giveaway here for tonight's giveaway. Nick, 250 rand Steam voucher, right?
I mean,
we're kind of in control here, so do we get to just determine these things and then sort of deal with the consequences as they come up later? Oh, it's the shirts. Okay, cool. So there we go. It's good that we ask these things before we commit. So guys, we are going to be opening up the giveaway for one of these fantastic Evesports shirts. Open to anywhere in South Africa. The keyword is Yoba, and yeah. If you win that, you get one of these great shirts. So get your entries in there. YOBA, caps, no caps, doesn't make a difference. And as I always say, just enter once. Because normally once is enough. And one is enough for Goliath in this case, Nick. One more round gets him across the line.
Yeah, and if they can take the scalp of DNMK next, actually going to open up this round. A super disjointed play coming out from Goliath. Something we haven't been attributed to them so far. Diver's taken down Adaro towards middle, so just like that, it's a 2v4. Diver, Nexus are on no HP. Dweezil's taken down Kani. 3 players' HPs don't even sum up to the full of Doru, but Nexus, he doesn't care that he's on half HP. He's going to take down Dweezil, so ADM in a 1v4 turned 1v3. The low HP of Divo is on towards the A ramp. Can ADM suss him out? Doesn't seem to be accounting this position, but now he spots his head.
Oh my god, he does.
Frag.
Yeah.
He's got a molly in the
plants
smoke
as well. Wants to bait them out. He is going to smoke towards short. He's got time to work with here. Not much, but a little bit. And both of the remaining players for DNMK are going to be coming from short, Nick. Lest we forget, this began as a 1 versus 4. This is very doable for ADM all of a sudden. He's going to be itching to use that molly. He drops it towards short, but that's okay. DNMK have some time, and ADM's starting to figure this out, Nick. He's actually getting towards CT right now. I don't think he's going to be spotted immediately, and he sees the head. He knows they're both here. Takes the first on, but he can't find the second on to Doru, the savior of the day for DNMK, as he does the job once again, keeping them in it by the skin of their teeth. 15-12, this map's not over yet. DNMK are going to be fighting for overtime.
Oh my goodness, Doru is just super lucky that his timing, his spacing was super close to his teammates as ADM almost closes out that 1v4. Doru being the only player on high HP. Of course, it wouldn't matter to the headshot of the Kalashnikov, but ADM just piling on the pressure to DNMK. Your map pick, you're 12-15 down, 11-15 in the previous. They're going to go for this B lean as Goliath do seem like they're going to pressure this B site once more.
Yeah, I like this read from DNMK. You can see they've got 2 players as well, and that's a massive grenade doing a huge chunk of damage to Adaro and Massacre. And Adaro is going to be the point man as he makes his way out. He does isolate Heartbreak, and Doru's been traded out as well. There's a quick response coming through from Kanye, and you can see he wants to get in on the action, but that pace is actually going to lead to his demise. And now it's Goliath Gaming, who are mere 2 kills away from securing themselves the first map here in the upper bracket semi-final. Nexus and Divo tasked with trying to get this one across the line. They've got the kit, they've got Util as well. Smoker's going to go into tunnels. They've got flashes and a molly, but there's a flank that goes unaccounted for from Elusive. He gets one and he figures out Nexus's position. He's been able to find a second. He's actually finding some kills here to keep this interesting right now. I'm going to try and flash himself into the side. He's actually taking down Dweezil, but he doesn't expect Massacre to be so close. What a fantastic effort that was from Nexus, but just not across to get them across the line. And Goliath Gaming taking an emphatic 16-12 lead in the first map here in the series, Nick. It's DNMK's map pick as well, bruv.
Yeah, I mean, ADM tried his chance at the 1v4 and only one player stayed alive, and the same with Nexus. Super well played to him, unfortunately, just unable to win it out. But ultimately, 16-12, the scores in the doors at the end of the game. So, I mean,
yeah,
Goliath, they pick up DNMK's map pick. And again, I'm going to carry on pushing the narrative because it's extremely important to keep in mind. Inferno's next could really go either way. DNMK, they've been one team. ATK have been absolutely wiping the floor with everyone. Goliath obviously making them ban it. DNMK actually take Inferno off ATK sometimes. So the fact is that DNMK, they super sound on this map. So Goliath, it's anyone's game right now. It could be 2-0. Yeah. DNMK could take this next map. It could really go either way.
Guys, like Nick says, there's every reason for you guys to hang around right now because there's still so much entertainment in store for this match. Before we take our short little break here, before we head into Inferno, let me just remind you about the giveaway that we have open at the moment for one of these dope Evesports Season 2 shirts. Keyword is Yorba. If you've entered already, don't enter again. Get your entries in. We'll announce the winner somewhere throughout the second map. But for now, we're just going to take a short breather. When we return, we'll have Inferno. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this upper bracket semi-final between DNMK and Goliath Gaming. If you're just joining us now, you would have missed a seriously impressive and entertaining first map. Goliath Gaming were behind for the most part, starting off on the CT side. They did start on the CT side, right? And they go down 9-6, and then they shift into the T side. They go down 11-6, and then as soon as they get the guns in their hands, Nick, they look like a completely different team, and they win the series 16-12. So they only drop a round further after winning 10 of their own.
I mean, Goliath, they look polished. They look ready. Mask had an absolutely blinder of a game. ADM obviously coming up. He's a heavy hit himself. But ultimately coming out from the Goliath Gaming camp, just ultimately full round, just good CS coming out from them. Just dotting their T's, crossing their R's. Yes, that's how it goes, I promise. And then everything just going their way. And they were able to have a polished T side coming out from them and ultimately winning out the map 16-12. But Inferno may be a different story.
Yeah, I do think DNMK are going to be hurting a little bit though, hey bro, after that performance, you know, considering that they were ahead 11-6 at one point and then it all just went completely down the toilet. Like, I was singing their praises for being able to reinvent themselves in the middle of games sometimes and being able to come back, and they didn't really have that ability on the CT side. Once the going got tough, they kind of started to fall to the wayside, but new map, new me, they're going to have to focus themselves now on Inferno because they are on the cusp of being dropped down to the lower bracket, which is just not a position either of these teams want to find themselves in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no more easy games in this event or in this competition, so any opponent that you face from this point is going to be a challenge. So much on the line here, and actually just looking at the bracket, the loser of this plays against WRG. So I mean, there we go. That's all you needed to hear to know that you have a tough game on your hands. Whoever loses this one, and winner, well, it's 80k, so that's obviously easy game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the low bracket, I mean, left in the tournament, we pretty much got the top 6 teams in the country right now. Bar Bravado, you could argue that they're probably in that top range. Obviously, we haven't seen them perform against top teams, so we don't really know where they are. But probably 6 of the top 7 teams are in the bracket now. And obviously, as you said, there's no easy games left. So, in all honesty, if you Goliath, if you DNMK, you want to make sure you keep your life and keep as far in front of the tournament as possible. Obviously, winning into the upper bracket final, you're able to make sure you just dodge that next round of the lower bracket games,
exactly,
and ensure that you're in that top 4 conversation.
That's exactly it, Nick. I mean, you kind of give yourself an extra life in the tournament, right? Like, you get that extra bit of insurance by winning this match right here, right now, tonight. And we are going into the second map. It's going to be Inferno, DNMK on the CT side with it all to do to keep themselves in the hunt here in this upper bracket semi-final. Goliath Gaming with every prospect to close this out in 2, Nick, as they find themselves on some familiar hunting grounds right now. This is their map pick, and look at the amount of util they've invested into. I've been longing and calling for this for a very, very long time. I think that buying armor is overrated on the T side, especially when you're playing against good teams, because you're probably going to get taken down by the one tap of the USP, which means your armor had no effect in the round, and that $800 can be very well spent on util. So really keen to see what sort of a round Goliath are going to engineer here, because they've got so much util. It could even be a fake, and hey, you don't see fakes that often on the T side, right? So it could be effective at that point as well, but looks like for the moment they're just securing map control, and then they're going to be bursting into an exec. But the exec right now is being met with a stern defense. Doru finds 2, as well as Dweezil, so it's about the double Ds on the server right now, and off the back of that, Goliath Gaming are going to re-explore their options towards the A site.
Ooh, Massacre dinks up Kani. Oh,
yeah, dinks him up though, and that's going to allow ADM to drop down, taking a prolonged fight there. Eventually, ADM will come out on top. There's a quick flank through from Nexus, but Goliath are aware of it, so it's advantage Goliath right now as the bomb plant is going to be going down.
Yeah, Doru and Nexus coming in for the retake. Doru has retrieved the kit, has the armor, and has the smoke, so things could get a little bit dicey, all things considered. ADM playing towards pit. He's just holding the run into the site, and if you're a Goliath, just play off one another. Make sure you don't give the CTs anything to get this retake. ADM taking Nexus head off.
Disgusting.
Doru finally comes in with the trade, and Doru in the 1v3 turn 1v2, and Adaro takes him out, and it's Goliath, Sandpit, and DNMK are not welcome to play.
Yeah, it's like, this is the cool kids corner, and you're not a part of our group.
Yeah.
Goliath makes you by shooting you in the head.
Yeah, DNMK Sandcastles are getting washed by the high tide. That's always like super sad when you're young.
Yeah, like
building a nice sandcastle on the beach, and
that's why you got to build the moat, bro. So like, you know,
that's facts.
all
Actually,
the water.
the
moat wasn't big enough for DNMK.
The moat was the most important thing. No one cared about how cool the sandcastle was. The moat was the most
how deep and big the moat was. Yeah,
that's
for
facts.
sure, bro.
That's facts.
Yeah, you were fighting against the ocean.
Who cares about
Gonna
the
be a
noob?
There's going to be a sea of USPs in this round, and it's looking like it's going to go the way that you'd normally expect these sorts of rounds to go. It's always funny when you get the Go TV glitch where there's no recoil.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing with Doru's USP right now, like every shot that he has, it just like stays in position. It looks super weird. But it is a Go TV glitch, and there's a lot of them as well. So you got to take everything you see on Go TV with a pinch of salt, like all the smoke spams and like the little extra angles and shit that. Oh, excuse me, but the little extra angles that everything and that people have to work with. Sometimes Go TV can be a bit scuffed.
Yeah. It is a bit touch and go, but I mean. Does look like DNMK are taking a leaf out of Goliath's book, full saving into the second round and full buying into the third. SMGs more than capable to do their work over towards Banana. Early Banana aggressiveness coming out from DNMK. Heartbreaker is going to get up close and personal with an MP9.
Yeah.
Something Yukindar does. I've been watching a lot of Virtus Pro demos and what Yukindar does, and that man's an absolute beast towards Banana. Oh
yeah, one of the best in the world right now, and Heartbreak doesn't know that this player in logs. Oh my god. MP9 trumps UMP, things Nick doesn't love to see, as the flying Heartbreak just absolutely decimates Massacre, and that's going to be some nice map control and real estate now taken by DNMK. And off the back of that, Goliath Gaming, they have to reassess their alternative options right now. It seems like it's going to be the exec onto the A side. Nice flash over the top, but it might have been preemptive. There's still a smoke here in apartments, which is denying Massacre, or rather Adaro, and it's going to allow free flow here for the CT players, but there's a quick response that's come through from Adaro and ADM, so they're still alive and kicking in this round. I mean, 2 versus 3 in the post plants on the A side. This is winnable for Goliath. Fresh smoke towards Moto as well, and Adaro's been able to secure himself a position in pit, so this is looking increasingly likely that Goliath can convert this into a round win. Yeah,
Heartbreak's going to throw the activation flash, but he's going to push with it, and he's going to fall.
Oh, no.
Now takes out Adaro. ADM with 1. ADM spotted out Cunny. Nice rear
shot. Oh, Adam!
The second. Oh my goodness, Adam, he's turned up. He's building nice castles, and he's knocked down DNMK.
Yeah, that was an amazing little round there from Adam. I thought that Adara had overshowed his hand in pits and probably been too aggressive. They're swinging out the way that he did. I don't know if he was mollied maybe, but ADM salvages the situation beautifully there. And that's what's going to be piling on the pressure onto DNMK right now, because that was a round that could have seen them get on the board, pick up 1-2, maybe anti-eco, but now they're going to have to try and make things work with the Desert Eagles. But this Goliath team is looking polished right now. Let's just remind everybody, Nick, that we do have a giveaway open at the moment for one of these dope Evesports shirts, the EGL One Season 2 shirt. And the key word for that is Yorba. If you were wondering why everyone was typing Yorba in chat, maybe you were. That's why. Entering the giveaway. We'll announce the winner somewhere throughout this map. And Divo not going to have any further say in this round.
Yeah, Doru, he's trying to walk to the top banana smoke, but Adam not only has grey screen advantage, but also sees the shadow be forced. That means 4 stay alive for Goliath. A similar story we saw on the T side of Dust 2 for the majority of the part. The anti-ecos were clean, bar that one round with Nexus got that double frag, 5-7, then one player dropped to the bomb. Bar that round, the anti-ecos were pretty polished. They kept the guns up, and ultimately they came into the latter stages of the game with 10k in the bank, which is exactly what you need, and they're going to want to have a similar start as the end they experienced on Dust 2.
I mean, Nick, sometimes we talk about scorelines being carried on into the second map. It's been 14 round wins and just 1 for Goliath, or rather for DNMK. In the past 15 rounds, when you take the last 10 rounds of Dust 2 and the first 4 rounds here, so it's been all Goliath Gaming for the past, 10 or 15 minutes in the server, 20 minutes in the server. And DNMK are going to have to start fighting their way back. And maybe this is the gun round they can get the job done in, as it's frags being traded back and forth across the board right now. But Doru and Nexus only have 25 points of health between the two of them. Goliath players aren't the healthiest, but they're certainly looking a lot better than the DNMK lads left remaining in this round, and it's going to have to be another retake. An early molly from Nexus to try and force him off the site, but that fresh smoke is certainly going to be hindering DNMK's chances, and saving isn't even a bad option from here, and it seems like that's the choice that they're going to go for. But this Goliath Gaming team is looking very good right now. They're taking their fights, and it seems like they're winning it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I was questioning as to why they didn't accelerate towards N1 a lot faster there, considering that they knew the boost came out because Masco got shot towards the top of the smoke. So they killed Cunny re-peeking, possibly a bit too aggressive from him. As soon as he gets one, he's pretty much the anchor of the site in that sort of situation. If he falls, the site falls. That's exactly what happened. Goliath, they munch that up, they get the round. Now they're 5-0 to the good. Dweezil and Masco ensure they keep their guns up, and Doru and Nexus save 2 of their own. They can drop over rifles towards their comrades and could bait DNMK into a buy round into this one. I wouldn't be opposed to it, considering how you can activate an SMG towards Banana, but it does look like they're just going to go opt for some upgraded pistols and armor behind them. Heartbreaker's got their noticeable utility on them, only with a nade.
Yeah.
DNMK, things are touch and go now, 5-0.
They could have afforded 3 more rifles. Why didn't they buy up in this round? I mean, no UMPs? What's going on?
That's true. UMPs are goated, in my opinion.
You know?
Honestly.
Heartbreak and Doru towards top banana looking to try and make something happen. And it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Doru's still holding onto the AK, which is the key in the round right now. Adaro going to find the timing here on Niix. Throws aiming down middle. Oh no, okay. Woo. Adaro decides to fire off a shot instantly that misses. Not enough time for Nexus to adjust. Oh, shot from Kani. That should be the highlight in the round though, and pretty much all that transpires from this point outside of Goliath Gaming, just closing this one home with relative ease.
I think he should save. Like, I think he may go for it, but I think he should save because, yeah, it's an eco round. That's why he could be better in to go.
Oh,
but the reason why I say save is look at his money now. He's up at 650 with the loss. Imagine he had an AK. He's able to buy an AWP. Heartbreak's able to buy his own AWP, and then you can play the double AWP. But now, because you haven't saved the rifle, an AWP may have to be dropped over, and that means that you don't have utility on one of your B players or on your pit player, Nexus and Do respectively. But instead, you're just going to leave for the four rifle setup. Kani's going to be AWPing over towards the B sides early in the round. He's going to go for an aggro pick. But I see DNMK lean towards his double AWPs early, and they could have had it in this round, and they don't even have it in this round, in all honesty, because Kani's been taken out early.
Yeah, Heartbreak, I mean, inconspicuously just comes up from behind and says, mate, don't mind if I pick that one up.
He's like, Trevor, you missed? My turn.
We didn't get the double AWP, but I still have my AWP, and that's what matters the most. But Nick, I totally agree with you, just by the way. I think he should have saved that AK, not only because he could have bought the extra AWP, but it also gives you a bit of extra economy going into the round afterwards, like on one player who can drop Desert Eagles or something like that, just because he didn't have to buy, right? So I think when you think long-term as well, it also has its advantages to save, even though it's an eco round. And hey, it's an AK on the CT side, which everybody loves. Let's be real. It's going to be the exec onto the A side. Doru able to get one before the smoke blooms, but Divo in no man's land as Adaro comes flying around the corner. He spots out Nexus as well, who's been able to stand tall for the time being, but not before or not until Massacre comes flying through that smoke and trades him out. So again, it's a disadvantaged situation here for DNMK. Nick, this half is really starting to get away from them. I mean, can they afford to go for this one? It just looks like the answer is going to be no once again. Heartbreak, you need to commit to the save, because if you die at that point, it's catastrophic. 7-0. Goliath Gaming on an absolute tear.
Goliath Gaming, they're just playing their own CS. They're pushing and pulling DNMK around, and as soon as those players, and that was even an A lean. Yes, they lost the early man towards top banana. They left one player B. I want to say it was Heartbreak, but I could be mistaken with that. And then one player rotated towards library, and it was a 3A lean in all honesty. And Goliath, they just chomped that up, and now they're 7 to the good. So just like that, Doru and Heartbreak, they're saving. They're 7-0 down. What's next? I think you got to take attack, even though you're probably not going to buy in this round. I mean, you could warrant it. I mean, considering Heartbreak and Doru can drop over M4s, that's exactly what's going to be the case. So you are going to buy. I think take attack timeout. Talk things over. What part of the map can be exploited from Goliath? I mean, in all honesty, they're using a lot of molos towards apps. So maybe a late aggression towards that sort of the region. They're throwing that molo, then they're throwing the boiler molo. So you got to think about how Goliath playing in the late rounds, how they don't have molos to execute the sites. They've used 3 already in this round. 4 actually. They've got 1. So DNMK, you got to be thinking about these things.
Yeah, you got to be aware of what's going on and try and react to it. I think another option could be a deep banana take. Right now, it's coming into an exec towards this A site. Nexus able to stand tall in the defense for the first kill, and he finds the second, but eventually he's been traded out. However, it's still DNMK who have control of the site. Dweezil edging around the corner. He's holding the angle on Heartbreak, waiting for him to peek, and he's going to be able to find that kill. Kani up close is the next point of contention, and ADM wins out his gunfight with him. So now again, it comes down to the retake on the A site. However, this time round, it's even keel, even numbers across the board. Divo along with Doru to try and get this job done. And I don't think Dweezil was spotted. He's in a perfect position right now as Divo comes up N1, gets destroyed by Dweezil, and Doru receives the same treatment as well. From bad to worse here for DMNK as Goliath Gaming go up 8-0. Oh man, it's really falling apart for them here, Nick.
What is that, a 2v4 that round? I think
Yeah,
it was 2v4
actually that was. No, you're absolutely right, because there were still 2 players on A, and Dweezil gets the 1 player towards Moto, and ADM gets the player in the site, and then they win the 2v2 post plant.
Yeah, so Kani, unfortunately, he just whiffed towards first box, and I mean, if that kill goes his way, then it's a completely different scenario. It's the low HP of... No, so Adam got brought down low, so it would have been a completely different scenario, and Dweezil in the 1v3, I think, in that sort of scenario, so it could have been completely different, but I mean, all things considered, a polished 2v4 coming out from Dweezil and ADM, playing off each other perfectly. Nice post plants, getting caught out from them. The flash came in from Doru. Dweezil understood the peak that was coming out from the CTs, as well as where the flash was thrown from. He bunches up those 2. And just like that, Divo has had an extremely slow start. He's 0-0 and 8. And if you're thinking about DNMK, he's that X factor. You know, if Divo's popping, surely the rest of his team's playing well. Surely the rest of his team is going to be firing at full force. But DNMK, they've had an extremely slow start to this game, and they need to start posting some rounds.
Nick, against Sinister 5 yesterday, Divo went 24-2 on Mirage, I think it was. Great shot there from him. And his first kill, first count. That's all it's going to be for him in the round, though. But he was 24-2 yesterday, bruv, on Mirage. I mean, that's just crazy numbers to be putting up. He was unstoppable on that map in particular, but he hasn't pitched up tonight. And he was also pretty... he didn't have the best frag count on Dust 2 either, if I remember correctly. I think he was towards the bottom of the scoreboard again. So he has had a slow evening tonight. And I mean, when you are one of the star players, when you're one of the instrumental fraggers in your team, it's always going to be tough, you know, to be competitive when one of your star players is underperforming. You can never, you know, put full stock in one individual and always rely on him popping off. But they do need him to come to the party here, and they need him to arrive very soon. Flash can be late, sure, but no more than that.
Yeah, I agree, because even though you're 9-0 down now, right, obviously the bomb's going to get planted. Heartbreak is going to attempt to save this AK. I mean, if you're Goliath, you know he's saving an AK. You can just hunt him down. You've got plenty of money to throw around. So Dweezil's pushing the 16k mark at the end of this round. So throw a body or 2 at the situation to try to take down that AK. But essentially, it's 9-0 down. If you can string 6 rounds in a row, it will be as if it was never 9-0 in the first place at an off. So all things considered for DNMK, it's not panic stations just yet. However, if you're looking at, as you've said, a slow start from Divo, a slow start from Heartbreak, the heavy hitters that your team needs to possess if you want to go toe-to-toe with Goliath, like, these people need to start turning up if you want to have a competitive second map, let alone take a series.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't mind actually seeing DNMK just go for the outright deep banana take and then just posting 1 player up and padding 4 on the A side. Goliath have been leaning towards A lot throughout this half, and they haven't been contesting banana early for the most part. So I think, you know, try and get that early map control, secure that information, and then pad up the A defense as much as you possibly can, because that's where Goliath have been favoring, and it looks like that's the call. Heartbreak, he just throws some extra util, and now he's left out Doru to his own devices, who has 1 smoke left remaining at his disposal. Oh man, I thought that was Kani through the smoke, but it's Divo who's been able to find a second. But again, Nick, how good have the trades been from Goliath Gaming? And Adaro is going to be separating the 2 teams. He goes 1 further, and he's looking to joust it out now with Kani as well. The Orpa still wants to have an impact here as he's gotten ahead of the smoke, and he's caught Adaro off guard, which means there is still a body on the site here for DNMK. Kani, the man in position, has to be the man of the moment. Doru not going to find the timing. So Kani still has work to do right now. Rooted in the corner. He's going to land that instant quickscope. Or rather miss the instant quickscope. And now it's Doru left in the clutch. 1v2. Finds the first. And he finds the second. He's way further forward than either of them thought. And it's actually the easiest clutch of his life, Nick. Neither of those players were looking in his direction at all. And he just snaps them both up.
Yeah, tap. On the board. Doru, headshot machine himself. He's been the only player positive from the side of DNMK, arguably the only player that's actually showed up on Inferno so far. He's been the B play, he's been rotating into the sites, having a real tough time of it. And if you're Goliath, it's not all she wrote. Like, yes, you lost the 1v2, but all things considered, you're still 8 rounds to the good and you're a man up in this. But one thing Goliath have been doing is they've been using a lot of Molotovs. Like just now, they've got 2 Molotovs on the side. So imagine you throw a retake utility towards top banana. They have to respond with a Molotov of their own. They use 2 early Molos towards apps. Now you're down to 1 Molotov to hit the side that can only be used for family. So all things considered for DNMK, you just got to try and play the late rounds. Don't give these early picks away. But what they have done well in this round is make it a 4v4. But it is going to be the deep bomb side under question, which hasn't been an often theme that we've seen coming out from Goliath, and Doer is taken out.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Nick. As you say, it hasn't been something that we've seen too much, and it's the option that they pull out this round, and it's worked out very nicely for them. Again, they've secured another plant, and they're forcing DNMK to make a 3 versus 3 retake, and they're not even able to get to the fringes of the bomb site before Dweezil and Massacre have found their frags. So it's just all Goliath Gaming right now. Even though they lost the previous round, they're straight back to their winning ways. Man, oh man, this is the best I've seen Goliath looking for a while. I mean, obviously I haven't seen any of their broadcasts in recent times. It's the first time we're seeing them here in EGL One Season 2, but they're looking really good right now, man. Like this is everyone's always known how much potential this team has, right? And Elusive's been working for them for like I'd say it's it's a good couple months now. It's enough time that he should be taking effect at this point. Oh man, that's just so unfortunate. Diver can't even save the AWP, but it looks like this team is starting to come together now, and that's a very exciting prospect.
Yeah, they're looking really polished, man. I mean, we spoke that we haven't really seen much of them, and they're coming out with a bang. And these 2 teams, they're going to be going toe-to-toe. Arguably, I think these 2 teams are without a doubt leaps and bounds ahead of the rest of the echelons in SACS right now. I mean, Dweezil's going to get his head ripped off on the tag going, okay, well...
Oh, ADM, okay. That was very cheeky, and they're going to keep on lining up here and taking these fights. Yeah, it's going alright now, especially since Sadara has been able to find some control towards middle and evens out the numbers once again. But yeah, Nick, you're right. This is going to be a theme in South African Counter-Strike for the months to come, especially after 8K parts. And then you're going to hopefully add Bravado into that mix as well, right? I mean, they should certainly be competing for the top spot here in South African Counter-Strike, along with these 2 dogs.
Yeah, I mean, the man, Wipeout, Detrony, EXE... Flexi, I mean, such a good squad, dude.
Star-studded lineup, bruv.
Yeah, genuinely.
Star-studded lineup. 11-1 is about to be the score here in not too long. Kani has no interest in saving the scouts. Obviously, he's going to want an AWP in the next round. They got full round loss bonus behind them as well. 11-1, I mean, that's when it starts to reach do or die, right? I mean, 1 round never ever going to be enough at the halftime. Generally, like, the bare minimum we always talk about is 3. If you can, like, secure a 12-3, like, at least there's still something there, especially because it means if you lose the pistol, you still haven't lost the game, which is like what a 13-2 halftime scoreline sort of means. So yeah, 2 more rounds sort of has to be found here at the bare minimum for DNMK if they're going to have anything to work with heading into that second half.
Yeah, I mean, Zonic, he refers to the 11-4 scoreline as the same as the 2-0 in football. Like the most dangerous one. You think you're so ahead, you think you're comfortable, and then next thing you know, you lose a couple important rounds and the enemy's right back into the game. And I mean, Goliath, they've already secured 11, so how they're going to change this default coming out from the next? Again, a 4-man A-lean coming out from DNMK this round, as it does seem like Goliath are pressuring this mid position really early in the round. A 3-man N1 stack. Kani's going to smoke his Molo, and he's going to have to fight through it. Elusive's going to get taken out. Trades aren't too close. There we go. The N1 stack works out to really good effect. Kani with 2, but Adara's out the apps. They don't know. Kani's taken down. And Adara's possibly found a hole in the CT defense.
I mean, he can actually try and make some work from this position. It's the player on top of the quad, and he's actually going to find that kill onto Divo as well. This is where things start to actually spiral out of control. Yeah, when you look at ADM's position, Heartbreak is not even remotely aware of this right now, as he starts to back out towards CT, and ADM going to peek up, but Heartbreak is quick enough on the trigger. Even though he's brought down to 22 health, he'll still find the kill, and it means that Adara is now left in the clutch, and obviously they know where he is as well, so it's going to have to be the ace clutch from him. He has no util to aid his cause either, and this is looking like an inevitability. This is looking inevitable at this point from DNMK's perspective, that they should be getting across the line here. Adara should have been spotted out there, and okay. Oh no, this is actually spiraled. Oh my god, it's going to be Heartbreak. Gets on the angle just in time, and I think he's going to be breathing a massive sigh of relief after that one, Nick, that he was able to find that kill so quickly, and you know, Adara didn't get away, and then it converted into that much longer 1v1.
Yeah, but I mean, all things considered, like the economy for DNMK is in the ground. You know, Kanye is down to a Mag 7, Doe's down to an MP9, an M4 with 2 flashbangs on Nexus, and an M4 with no utility on Divo. The only man with noticeable utility is the AWPer. So that economical damage that Adara is able to put out latter stages of that round, it's actually worth its weight in gold, all things considered.
Yeah. I do like the variation we saw DNMK though bring out in the defense to say, Goliath, if you're going to keep going this hard at the top mid, we're just going to throw numbers at it even more. We're going to have 4 players there. You know, we've got players stacked up on N1, they're boosted on quad, they're underneath, they're ready to take the fight, taking the bait, but Goliath Gaming, they're not going to just switch across off the back of that. They're still persisting with the same bomb site right now. 3 players in apartments, 2 coming out of middle, the flash is over the top as well. Nexus is being chased down, and he's been hunted as well. Heartbreak's been found out on the bomb site, and now it's just Divo left as he crosses elusive like a ship in the night through the smoke, but still it's the A bomb site firmly in control of Goliath Gaming. Divo's gonna get found out as well. He decides to try and rattle off shots through the smoke in response, but ends up giving his position away. Elusive finds a double kill. Goliath Gaming again, after losing a round, are straight back to winning ways, yet they don't even lose a single player in that round, Nick. And this is just one-way traffic if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, a super sick horse pop coming out from Goliath, and Adara doing that to good effect, looking at the floor, understanding you can't get blinded by the flashbangs, and Nexus ultimately stands no chance. Really important entry frag coming out from Divo, because Adara, because when you're entering an apps, as soon as the first player possibly doesn't get the entry frag, then it's possible for the CTs to just snowball, and Adara makes really good use of that entry frag. Massacre takes on Heartbreak, trying to keep quiet towards top banana, and everything's going Goliath's way.
It absolutely is, Nick. It's just like DNMK can't catch a break right now. They've got the smoke towards top banana, which has just kept Goliath Gaming at bay, which is at least fortunately for DNMK allowed them enough time to rotate the second player in, and Goliath will know this now because of the second smoke that's come through. And there's also a quick flank coming out of Kanye, but Nick, he's got the worst gun in the game to try and make this flank effective, and you can see that's why he doesn't want to swing out. Adara's found Nexus, so this could force Goliath Gaming to consider ulterior options, or they're going to try and give time to Adara, and now Kanye's been spotted, but because he has the Mag 7, all he can do is watch from the distance, and it's just Divo left remaining in the 1v4, but he only has double the amount of players he has to fight in HP, so it is a grim prospect to say the least, and they've gone to the opposite side of the map. Oh, that's so unlucky for Kanye, man.
Weasel with a 1-tap to close out the half. Very nice, sick, crisp, clean lock coming out from Dweezil. 20-6 ADM. Finishes the first half, 118 ADR coming out from him. Absolute monster performance. The same can't be said about pretty much anyone on the side of the DNMK squad. Obviously, you're 13-2 down. No one's really expected to put up unreal numbers like ADM, but he's had an absolute field day on Inferno against DNMK.
Yeah, he certainly is going to be looking to continue that here into the second half here of Inferno as we kick the pistol round off. We've got a smoke and 2 flashes, a lot leaner on neutral. Our DNMK Kani has or rather ADM has a couple of shots down middle, but he's going to be calling for some supports as DNMK, they're just charging forward onto the safe bomb site. They've already got all of their players around, and he's going to have a big job to do. I mean, thankfully for Goliath, DNMK have kind of stalled after taking top middle control, which has given Goliath a lot of time to find information. Nick, they've pushed down Banana with 2 players. They've got 2 players in CT as well, and they're actually starting to converge on this A site. This elongated break has really cost DNMK right now in terms of what their prospects are looking like. ADM on the bomb site, gonna have a job to do, but he gets it to take him down. It's Elusive, though, who's actually getting a lot of the heavy lifting done. And in fact, all of these players are in position right now for Goliath Gaming. It's gonna be so tough for DNMK to even find a plant. Adaro, he's going to charge onto the site, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. They're so far forward right now. Massacre gets a kill as well. It's only Nexus left, and he's not long for this world either. Man, oh man. DNMK just putting the brake on things there. It's so questionable, Nick.
Yeah, it is super rough considering you spotted 1 player out. However, I think DNMK's thought process was possibly a sort of bait play coming out from ADM, because obviously no Utah was thrown towards the B site. They had no sort of question on the numbers, so maybe they just tried to stall out, and maybe ADM, maybe their thought process was, oh, they spotted a lot of players, maybe they call it a fake, and they try to cheat rotates over, and they just missed the timing. But then what Goliath did to counter that, they just pushed down Banana, and they got all the info anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
They were able to cheat those rotates over, and ultimately DNMK running into a brick wall meant things were going to go bad to worse for them. And now they find themselves 14 rounds to face against.
And here we go. I mean, this is do or die right now for DNMK because they've fully invested into this. Galils across the board. Lose this, there's no money in the bank, and it's map and match point for Goliath Gaming. And they're going to have to do it through sheer brute force, Nick. They've got 2 smokes and 5 Galils. And Nexus, he caught that grenade. I mean, I could do it with him on my cricket team the way he caught that so well in comparison to some of the oaks in my team.
Cheeky little dig there.
Yeah, it's a pity they can't hear me.
Watching.
But DNMK with the early man advantage. Nick, let's just use this quick pause in the round to roll the giveaway. See who's going to be taking home a Season 2 EGL One shirt, courtesy of Evesports. And Adara with the flanker could go for the trigger discipline option. Rather wants to try and take a kill away immediately here. But the rotation hasn't been prompted by Goliath Gaming. So Adara's going to get caught out as he tries to get back into the A site. And that should be the round over. Dweezil and ADM, no interest in trying to make anything happen at this point. They just need to take these Famises into the next round. And Alexia has won the giveaway. Congratulations. I mean, hopefully she's still around. But that's going to be a pretty cool one, man. Yeah, congrats. It's a cool shirt. So, feels good, man.
Everyone,
we're increasing the club of the amount of people that own the shirt.
Yeah,
You know,
keep easy, you know.
now it's like what, like maybe 9 people. This is a cool club to be a part of, man.
I mean, select few. Some would say,
Yeah, that's it.
the country have these shirts, so
If that.
you say the least. Exactly, if that. Pog.
Oh, here we go. DNMK finally getting around back here and keeping themselves in the hunt, but only just 3 to 14. They're going to have to win a lot more from here to try and make this competitive. Remember, this is the upper brackets. They've got that extra little cushion, that extra bit of life to work with, but they would have been hoping to put up a much better performance than they have tonight, Nick.
Yeah, and this is one of their first sort of things to get through. Another force buyer coming out from Goliath. 2 FAMASs on Dweezil and ADM respectively. A couple upgraded pistols amongst the rest of the comrades. And oh, outbreak! The molly wasn't spreading, so he took out the smoke and then put it back again. And then he eventually realized it was burning him, so it's super rough. But
oh, Nexus! Oh, just going to be able to get out with 12 health. It's a force buy in response here from Goliath. And
what did Dweezil
they're
just do?
making DNMK sweat right now. I don't know. What did he do? I missed
He was
it.
holding a nade towards top banana and then just like held A and then threw it. And then it looked like he was timing out. That's how weird it was.
Oh.
That was yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, he was timing out. He was definitely timing out.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, right? It's Dweezil. Back-to-back Comic-Con winner. And finalist in his 3rd.
Mad respect.
Looking like DNMK should be able to get across the line in this round unless Elusive can pull off some ridiculous heroics, and unfortunately for him it's only going to be the 1 kill. And it seems like Dweezil and Massacre want to have a crack at this. Flash over the top, they start charging their way forward, but this FAMAS betrays Dweezil as it does to most people. 14-4. DNMK are going to at least earn themselves an anti-eco round here.
Yeah, and finally they can have some sort of a say in the game, right? They can start building up their eco if they make this one as clean as possible coming into the next. So hopefully if you're DNMK, you string a couple rounds together, get the momentum going in your way, start putting the pressure on Goliath, hoping they make some bad decisions. Heartbreak's got a collapse in this. He's going to teach us how to count.
Oh
He's
my
got 4.
God,
3.
bruh.
Divo is cheat. Divo's like,
Jesus.
nah, I want eco frags. Marku, give them to me. I was like, that was gonna be
Nick,
a
I
clip,
blinked.
dude. That was gonna be
What
a clip.
happened there? Yeah. The call-out, Andy finds the 3rd with the 2nd shot. That's going to be a boost for the confidence, right? That always feels good.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Force buy coming back from Goliath Gaming.
Like when you're streaming, you're like, guys, somebody clip that. Oh, I need that. And then no one in chat clips it.
Then you're like,
With your life.
yeah. Then you lost the game of life, the game of streaming. What happened?
Yeah. Had such a nice hike today, man. Man, I love hiking. It's actually so good for the soul.
Haven't been on a hike.
Speaking of hikes, you haven't? There's so many good places around Joburg, bro. Seriously. I implore you to go on. But speaking of hikes, DNMK, they've got a hike in this game, Nick. There's a big mountain to be climbed. And, well, all big climbs start with the first step, right? They've found the first 3. There's going to be a lot more to go thereafter, though. And Goliath Gaming, although on the finish line, they're having a nap, and it looks like Adaro and Elusive have woken up, and they want to just finish off the walk right now. But DNMK still continue to fight to keep themselves alive. It is a man down, and the bomb's been dropped. Oh, that's tragic right now. Doru with the shot! It's perfect. Fires the shots as well to bait them into watching the angle. Nexus also finishes things off onto Massacre, and DNMK have some life left in them yet.
Dude, what a sick flash coming out from Nexus. Both those players were blinding their eyes like their sun was in their eyes on the hike that they won, dude. Like,
yeah, well, the sunnies, boys. You can never forget the sunnies when you go for a hike. That's like rule number 1.
that's rookie errors right there, dude.
Rookie mistakes. No sunblock? Gee, are you kidding me? Nah. You're asking for trouble. Oh, ADM. Actually gets a shot there in mid. I thought it was Massacre. My bad. A 1 lead, boys. Spicy.
He's gonna push them.
So I mean, what are the prospects here for DNMK?
I mean, you win this round, right? Which you should win. I mean, ADM is...
They win this round. It's done. No. Oh, he takes the first one. Thought he could have gone for some trigger discipline there, actually.
DNMK win this round, right? 14-7. Goliath, they've got max loss coming into the next. So they have a good buy. They have a really good buy, all things considered.
Yeah.
You also have a really good buy, all things considered. So you, if you're DNMK, win that round as well. 14. So you win this next buy round, 14-8. You win the eco, 14-9. And then there's the old double digit rule you speak about on comebacks. As soon as the one team making a massive comeback gets to double digits, it's as if that comeback was never there to start with. Then the pressure's off.
Yeah.
You know, you've made double digits. Goliath, they've fallen into your trap thinking that they're ahead super comfortably. But then next thing you know, 14-10 is an important gun round, you lose it. 14-11, you win the anti-eco. Next thing, it's 14-12, and you're right back in the game.
Oh, Divo gets a kill there, and he's going to find the second one to Massacre. Massive double kill there. After, again, it was Goliath Gaming who found the opening pick in the round. It's a double kill in response from DNMK. And there's so much time left on the clock here, they don't need to force anything from this point. Yes, Divo is low, but he's already done his job, and now they're going to start to gravitate towards the, say, bomb site right now, where Adaro and ADM lie in wait. Adaro, or rather ADM with the AWP, is just trained towards middle, but he's in trouble with Nexus, who's got that boiler angle. Nade's going to find Divo 100%, takes him out. In fact, it might have even hit him and brought him down to 1 before it actually exploded on him. And now ADM has a job to do towards the archers. Swings out, misses the first shot, goes back for more, and loses his head as a result. The Rapper's going to come onto the A bomb site. It's Adaro, and he's going to go down to Doru as well. So it's looking like DNMK have got the job done. Before Doru says, guys, you can finish it off from here. I'm just going to watch from the spectator's point of view. And that might have actually been enough to maybe give Elusive a shot at this, you know. 1v3, he probably saves. 1v2, he goes for this.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. But Kanye's in a position towards Cubby over towards Arch, and he's going to check mid on a timing. And Elusive doesn't have his wits about him. He does hit the flick, but only lands 1 bullet. And Kanye lands the important one to Elusive's brain, which allows DNMK again. They've got the eco, they've got the guns, they've got Goliath on the fence almost. You win this anti-eco 14-9. You win the gun round 14-10. You're right back in the game.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the one thing I will say is it's not like you should be panicking from Goliath's point of view. They've been finding opening picks, and it's not like they've just been getting blown out of the water for the past 5-6 rounds, right? Like, they have been back and forth, and they've been getting, to like 3v3 situations where they lose out from. So I think the Goliath is still going to be feeling very fine about the situation right now. I think they'll be pretty calm. I think once it reaches, like, if they lose the next gun round, I think that's when they probably start to sweat a little bit more.
Yeah, that's when things start to becoming really touch and go. However, if they walk into a pistol stack for the side of Goliath, DNMK that is, they'll have a real rough time. 3 CTs over towards this B bomb sites. Banana control has been obtained from DNMK. And Dweezil is boosted. So 3 players over towards this side. Dweezil can get a couple frags, and if that is to be the case, then things can go from bad to worse for DNMK as the hit does come in.
Oh, there's a gap as well. Adaro looking to exploit, but he's just bait at this point. He's trying to take the heat off of Dweezil. Lest we forget, Massacre is also a part of this defense right now, and he's opened things up with the scout. DNMK, they're caught between 2 mines right now, Nick. You can see they're trying to decide whether they're going to rotate back towards the A side or whether they commit to B, and it seems like it's going to be the latter. This is exactly what Goliath Gaming would have been hoping for. man, this is actually turning into a very realistic prospect as Heartbreak's been brought down as well. Dweezil should be good for at least one. Massacre continues to do work with the scout. Surely they know Dweezil's on the boost, so he actually decides to get down, but Adaro's now picked up an AK, and he's become a living nightmare. Dweezil just charges through the smoke, finds Heartbreak as well, and in the most anticlimactic fashion, DNMK lose a round, and it brings an end to their 6-round win streak, and it is Goliath Gaming who secure map and match point here in the upper bracket semi-final.
Yeah, I just think it's super rough from DNMK. It looks like you're committing to the B exec and then you just hesitate. There's no continuation flashes. You just stop beyond that smoke. And ultimately, Dean Davids, Massacre, the man himself, he just has a firing range with the scouts, shooting people through smoke, doing some extra damage. I think just going his way. Diver's able to get a 2-man spray down. No deep banana smoke coming out from the side of Goliath as they try a 3 molly take. But now it's Elusive, being the only player on this B site, seeing if he can lock it down for the boys in red.
Seems to be a bit of a recurring thing that they don't smoke deep banana when they look to try and make that play. I guess it's because they want to take the fight, but it's been costing them. Both times now, Divo's been able to punish them from bottom banana and find a multi-kill. So, you know, I think maybe it's just trying to be a little bit too fancy, keep things simple, get the smoke down there, and just try and keep it. You've tried your variations, they're not working, and now you need to adjust. ADM with the Orbs found one though, and Kani, you know, putting his lurk roll to great use here. He's identified the space towards A, but however, Adaro is still in the mix right now. He's getting a bunch of audio cues, looking for the timing peak. He comes around the corner, but he's going to be worse for wear after that one. He takes a bunch of damage. Gets information in the process, but I wouldn't mind seeing Goliath save right now, Nick. They've got enough money to buy up in the next round and fill up those 2 players who don't have money going into the next round. I don't think they should be going for this, and they're not.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you 3 men up, ADM can drop over a rifle, Dweezil can buy his own. I mean, if Adara has to drop over one, he can too. You've got 3 rounds of loss bonus, so you're looking really good for another full buy coming into the next. And yes, DNMK, their economy's starting to build, but their backs are against the wall every single round. The pressure is now on DNMK. You lost that important round. You can no longer have that steamroll effect that you may have experienced if the other team was stuck on 14. Now you understand that one misstep, one opening duel lost, one possibility that Goliath have an entry into a round, you know that DNMK, Goliath's foot are on your throats, and one misstep, and they'll munch you up.
Exactly. And there's not going to be any easy round heading into the 25th either, because they saved those 3 weapons, as we mentioned. They're going to be able to plug the gaps with the players who had a bit of extra cash. Rifles across the board, AWP for ADM as well, and it's straight back to the grind here for DNMK. Very tough round that they're faced with right now. ADM looks like he wants to try and flirt down middle here. In fact, no, he's just going to be mollying and then taking the passive angle towards archers.
Banana take coming out from Goliath Gaming, but DNMK, they're playing it super passive towards this side of the map. It does look like they're actually going to press the issue over towards the sites in which 2 Goliath players are present, which is the A sites, is you're just going to choose to accelerate towards bracket's position. They're taking control of
going to be... Yeah, he's going to be left to his own devices here, or ADM in a forward position trying to watch Boiler, but just gets absolutely swung on there by Nexus, who comes out like a madman. Now they're taking position towards Archers. The flash from Elusive is like going to be good for one, but it's still a plethora of kills here for DNMK. As it begins to wrap onto the A site, they know Adaro is the pit player as well, so they're going to be very wary of his presence over here, and he gets dealt with easily. DNMK, Nick, they've reached the coveted ground. It's double digits. And albeit 15-10, they're keeping themselves in the hunt. I mean, if we look at this, oh, okay, Dweezil, good frag there. If we look at the second half in an isolated, you know, sort of window, this is a great performance by DNMK. They're about to be what 8-2 up here in the second half. So yeah, it's just unfortunate that they were so far behind coming into this.
Yeah, it is super interesting, especially considering they lost the pistol round, right? And then DNMK convert the next, and then they win the force buy afterwards, and then they convert the anti-ecos really cleanly. So, DNMK, things are looking really good for you. You just got to make sure you clean up this anti-eco. Dweezil's obviously got a couple of frags. Actually drop it in the meantime. If you're Goliath, I don't think you should get baited into the buy. You can bring up those double orbs. They actually are going to buy into this one. They're going to forfeit the utility that they could have possibly had if they just went for a Deagle armor sort of buy. They're rather going to force up completely into this one. If FAMAS on Massacre. As we spoke about, the economy's not looking too great, so he's going to have to downgrade to that so you can get a full belt. Adaro and Elusive have got a full belt between the two, but Dweezil doesn't. So Flashblade and Goliath want to open up the shroud and take it by the scruff of the neck to ensure they can get an opening quick.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see that's why ADM's got this forward position towards mid, smoked off by his teamie now, but lose this round for Goliath, 15-11, Eco 15-12. I mean, 3 rounds is very doable for DNMK at this point. We've seen they've been able to do it already. And they're starting to already converge around the, say, bomb site, securing themselves apartments control. And off the back of that, they're going to try and take top mid control. Kanye did clear out this angle, and ADM's coming after that, so might catch him off guard here. This is an angle ADM really, really likes. So anytime you're playing against Goliath and you know they're on the gun round, you should almost be expecting him to be here. Just that's how frequently he's here and how you should sort of mold your approach. Always assume that he's on this angle on the CT side. And it is just going to be just showing presence at this point. I mean, they've got options available. 2 players in Banana, a couple players securing bracket as well. Make sure they keep their options available. Speaking of utility options, there's not many left here for Goliath, Nick. They've got 3 flashes, 1 kit as well on Elusive, and he's towards the correct site right now. It's all about how these first couple engagements are going to go as DNMK start getting themselves in towards the bomb side. ADM with the AWP is actually on a very awkward angle. He has to try and make this work up close and personal, missing a really important shot, but his teammate, Jessica, is doing all the heavy lifting. It's only Heartbreak left now in the 1v4, and he's going to fall to the no-scope through the edge of the box as well. Man, oh man, Goliath Gaming eventually get across the line there on Inferno, close out the series 2-0, and book themselves a spot in the upper bracket final where they'll be going up against ATK, Nick. What a game we had from these 2 teams, and Goliath Gaming made to work to close things out in the end, but they were pretty comfortable for the most part there on Inferno.
I mean, their T sides look polished. I mean, you think about the the Dust 2 T side, they played super, super well. In all honesty, only dropping a couple rounds, 2 or 3. And then you look at the T side they had on Inferno, 13-2 up at the half. Their T sides are really, really, really looking good. And maybe the same could be said about DNMK, considering how they stunted Goliath's growth on the CT side. The economy couldn't really get rolling, but in all honesty, a really entertaining series. Both teams playing really, really good heads-up Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Goliath reaped their rewards, and they found themselves 2 victors.
Enough of our insights. We've got another interview for you guys here as well, and it's the big brain himself, Mr. Elusive, who's going to be joining us for a short chat after the game, so don't go anywhere, guys. Let's get him in the channel here, and let's pick his brain about how tonight's game went, and just try and get a better understanding from his perspective. It's great to get their insights, so once we can and he's available, we'll get him in, and there we go. Welcome, Elusive, coming off the back of a 2-0 victory. They're fairly easy going as well for you guys now, going into the upper bracket. Talk us through about just how you felt about that game in general. I mean, were you expecting a closer contest?
How's it, Matt? Yeah, so we actually came off of one of our players actually away. Nico was away for about a week and a half. Matt did some studies and stuff. So yeah, we actually came in feeling a bit rocky because it was the first night we've been playing together as our unit for almost a week. We have been putting in, but we've been playing with Zip, with Rikus, so it's not like we haven't done any game time. And I mean, we all know all our strats and stuff. So I mean, from that perspective, we were pretty well oiled, regardless of the fact that we haven't been playing as 5. But no, I think we had a good game. They showed flames, but so did we. You know, I think on Dust 2 we had a bit of a slow start on the CT side. Our T sides looked very solid in general on both maps. But yeah, I think just in general we need to work a bit on our CTs and find out where we're lacking.
Yeah, speaking of your T side, you speak about like how well you played, and I want to pay testament to that because you find yourselves 9-6 down on the CT side of Dust 2. And then things just started just going your way. Obviously, I think that game ended 16-12, so only dropping 3 T rounds. Things are looking really good for you guys on your T side. What is that attributed to? Is it just your calling? You can take all the credits. I won't take any credits away from you. So what has come into this T side sort of like monopoly you seem to have found yourselves in? You find yourselves really comfortable on that side.
Yeah, look, we when we started out, we pretty much, it was like 100% focus on our T side. You know, it's where you kind of call majority of your strats. So we were 100% focused on our T side for a very long time. Then we noticed we were lacking on our CT side, so we started working on that again. But then consistently making adaptations and ironing in the stuff that we did have on our T side. Myself and Adam have been working on quite a lot of concepts and ideas. There was a lot of good CS on recently as well from international perspective that we can go through and get a lot of stuff there as well, a lot of ideas. But we grabbed a few things. We got a couple of strats. We got that stuff down. We kept it fairly basic as well. We didn't want to show everything, but that was our bread and butter. So I feel like everyone's very confident on our T side because that's where we did majority of the work. So I don't think there was a lot of tension really, despite the 9-6 half on Dust 2. You know, because everyone feels really confident in our T sides.
Yeah, I mean, let's actually talk a little bit more in particular about the maps that you guys played tonight against DNMK. First up was Dust 2, as you sort of touched on a little bit as well. That was picked by DNMK coming into the series, and I mean, of course, there's always a few demons in the back of the head of a Goliath Gaming versus DNMK Dust 2 game. I mean, there was always the Comic-Con semi-final, which went awry, and then I think you guys lost the game after that again against them as well after you picked it. Coming into this, as you say, you started on the CT side and was a little bit of a cold start. You go down 5-0, and they're actually, you know, winning a couple of rounds after that as well. Were you guys still like super calm in that situation? I think you were down like 7-3 at one stage or something like that. Everybody's still fully aware that the game's in its early stages, and you know, what was the mental state of the team at that point?
Yeah, I think when we were 5-0 down, I actually started experiencing some loss, which is when I DC'd. I think that pause, that 2-minute break that we had, I think just gave everyone some time to just calm down, relax. Okay. There wasn't tense in the sense of, you know, the game slipping away. I think everyone realized we're starting on the CT side. It's the first time we've played together in a while. We just need to get the motor running. So from that perspective, things were still very calm. I think we got a bit more, or I got a bit more anxious towards Inferno when they were starting to make that comeback, because I was just like, guys, we shouldn't be losing these CT rounds. You know, let's find our mistakes. Let's play a bit more aggressively. Let's do what we need to do. But we can't let them come back from was it a 12-3 or a
13-2 actually.
Oh, jeez, okay.
Yeah. You spoke about Adam and the work you two have been putting in, and clearly Adam is pretty much he's perfectly fine with not calling anymore. He had an absolute blind over series. I think he top fragged on Inferno as well as Dust 2. So has Adam enjoyed like not having to call like pretty much at all? He's picked up the rifle a lot more. He seems to be thrown into these sort of like his teammates going first. He's patrolling one area of the map. He's picking up the AWP on CT side. I just wanted you to speak about like Adam, his performance, and how well he's been playing in total.
Sorry, I got disconnected halfway through that question. I heard you saying Adam having a banger on both maps. That's why I lost you.
I just wanted you to speak about like what does Adam bring to the team? Why is he performing at such a good level? Why is he having such a big impact as he is having?
I think the fact that myself and Adam work so closely on a lot of the strats and stuff gives him a lot of comfort, firstly, in knowing that he's been part of making this, and then also it gives him a better idea of where he needs to be. I think if you're directly involved in creating a strat or whatever, you kind of know what the big picture is behind it, and that allows you to play more freely within the strat and know where your limitations are. And I think Adam's really good at capitalizing on that, and a lot of times he's just in situations where he can play a bit more solo. We can leave him to do his own thing. So yeah, I mean, he's been grinding a lot of putting in a lot of time, and it's evident in his performance. So yeah.
Okay. I have one last question for you, Luciv. Obviously, you guys have a bit of like a 6-man roster type of thing going on at the moment, you know, with both Zip and Massacre seemingly being the two players who are interchangeably coming in and out. Of course, with the state of the country, with load shedding and everything else that's going on, it's really valuable to actually have the situation that you do, where you've got a 6th player who's so familiar with the structure and the setting and the protocols for the team and everything in general. But can you share some insights into like how you go about picking your primary team when all 6 players are available? Like, what sort of a state you guys in, without giving away too much information, you know, but like, where are you guys at the moment in terms of like your best 5 players going into the year?
Yeah, look, it's not really a case of we've got 6 and at any point I would want to change them. It was more just the case of we were interchanging. First we used now I got to think. First we used Rickerson and Mass.
Massacre,
then we went
before
to
Adaro.
Yeah, then we went to Rickerson, Adaro, and now we went to Adaro and Mass. And we gave everyone a period of time, not necessarily the same, but we were playing and just trying to figure out, you know, how's the dynamic in the team, what are the strengths with this 5, what are the strengths with this 5, and then, you know, we're ultimately going to get to a point where we just make that final decision. But as is, we're happy with what we have now, and going forward, yeah, we want to see how the 80k game goes.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
speaking of the 80k game, that was going to be my last question. Obviously, you guys had you guys look polished tonight on the T side. Obviously, like without a doubt, you absolutely sublime Counter-Strike. And coming into 80k upper bracket final, I just want to get a bit of your mindset going into that game. What are you expecting? Are you expecting anything different?
I think in general we just need to kind of get back into the swing of things, purely because some of the guys were away. So iron out some of the mistakes that we experienced tonight. We've got officials today and tomorrow, and the night after that as well, big games for VS and ESEA and stuff. So I mean, that's a lot of potential footage for us to go through and find our mistakes and iron things out. But then also from the other side, we can probably decide which maps we're going to play against 80k, what the approach is and stuff. But I think in general, if we just show up with the preparation that we have, maybe some minor tweaks here and there for 80k, purely based on the things that we know about them, if we show up with confidence and we're hitting our shots, we can definitely walk away with the win. I don't think it's as one-sided as it previously was, but I mean, if they do end up destroying us, then props to them. But that would more be a failure on our part than a
100%.
So yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. We're expecting big things from you guys as well in that upper bracket final. I mean, I was saying on the stream that for me, this is actually probably like the most polished performance I've seen out of you guys in a while. You can really see you're starting to take effect on this team, and things are looking solid, man.
Yeah, thanks. It's a lot of work that eventually is going to get to a point where we're hoping it will lead to the results we want. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Yeah.
Absolutely. Elusive, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. It's like always giving us amazing insights as well, and just having a chat in general. Always good to hear from you, man. And congrats on the win again tonight. We'll see you in the upper bracket final in a couple of weeks from now.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Elusive, the captain in IGL of Goliath Gaming, who Nick had an amazing performance tonight, comfortably winning both of the maps, I would say. I mean, got a little bit closer on Dust 2 than it was on Inferno, but you could see that they'd reached a point on Dust where they were pretty destined to win, right? Like, after they had taken the lead, and that T-run just wasn't coming to an end. It was inevitable at that point, and then Inferno, they blow DNMK out the water, and that's it. The rest is history. We still don't have a 3-map series, and DNMK and Goliath, you were the chosen ones. You were the ones that we were waiting for and hoping would finally break the deadlock, but it hasn't happened, Nick. So we'll have to wait again.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the theme of tonight was Goliath looking polished on their T side. I mean, props to DNMK. They had a couple standout performance. Doru was probably the performer of the series from their side.
Yeah, and Kanye as well.
Yeah, and Trevor, obviously. I mean, Trevor always drops a silent, the 25 kills sort of thing.
That's it.
Just standard procedure. But I mean, props to DNMK. All's not lost. They fall down to the low bracket where they'll face WRG, which is definitely a winnable game from them. Obviously, as you said prior, no easy games left, but I think DNMK definitely find themselves as favorites in the low bracket. I have no doubt we'll be seeing more of them in the tournament. But pretty much today, props to Goliath, and they'll be facing 80k in the upper bracket final.
That's exactly it, guys. We've still got so many amazing games coming up in this event, but unfortunately, that's all the Counter-Strike for the week, Nick. We no Tuesday, no Thursday. We've pushed the schedule forward a week now, so everything's sort of shifted. I'm not complaining because I'm going away on Thursday, which means I would have missed the broadcast anyway. So from a personal, selfish point of view, I'm super happy. But guys, that's all that we have for you this week. We will be back again next week, Tuesday, with some absolute banger lower bracket matchups. On the one side, we've got Big 5 versus who are you cats playing? Big 5 versus Sinister 5. Who's the better 5? We'll find out. And then the other lower bracket semi-final game is going to be WRG and DNMK. Straight fire Counter-Strike. Make sure you join us, guys, next week, same time, same place. It's going to be on Tuesday on this very channel. Follow Evesports on social media, myself and Nick if you want to as well. But until then, I hope you have an amazing week, an amazing long weekend as well. Remember, do your part. Let's not spread the virus. We'll all try and do our small little extra things. Until then, guys, keep safe, all the love, and see you on Tuesday.